It was just a matter of time before I was found out. The apple may not have fallen far from the tree, but I was certainly no lawyer. A name, I had to give her a name, or the jig was up, something she could hang her hat on. It's Vice, Vice, baby. It's Vice, Vice, baby.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How are you doing? Oh, happy Memorial Day, guys. It's my second stream of the day, and also my last for today. Oh, let's see who's in the house. We got Sweetfly. Good morning. Hello again. I don't know why I said good morning. It's good afternoon. John H. 2004. How are you doing, good sir? Just on. How are you doing? Alan, good to see you again. Denise, good Memorial Day to you too. Emil Ice Ice Baby. Dodo Dixon, how are ya? Good to see you. Slight bump in the volume. Is that better? It's just a tiny bump. And yeah, I think I said hi to everybody. Oh, I'm very quiet? Ooh. What is Spoopy? Spoopy Sperry. Tammy, how you doing? No, I do not need filter. I need properties. Nope. Oh. Okay, how about that? Is that thing? Whatever the word is? Is that better? And Tank Rat. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. Thanks for the 25 baby gift and membership. I really appreciate you. Always thank you for the support. Can barely hear you? Really? Oh my gosh. Well, how barely is barely? Let me checketh on my end. Oh, well, I can hear myself pretty well, but I don't know. I will have my microphone pretty close to you. To me, I guess. And Tankrat, thank you for the 10 Super chat. Appreciate ya. Happy Memorial Day to you too, good sir. Good now, gotcha. Awesome. So, today's Maritime Monday is a special one. It is a Halloween edition. So, it is 3 hours and 19 minutes long. I've skipped all the parts where he does the usual housekeeping stuff. Did you see the new goat? No, I heard about it, but I haven't seen the new goat. But yeah, so this might be a two-parter because I'm a little tired. So we'll see how it goes. And Tuzret, good morning, or good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are. And Alan, happy Memorial Day to you. I can't talk today for some reason. I had trouble talking on the last stream, and it's continuing this stream. So for today, I will be working on my crocheting as well, but before that, I'm gonna set up some stuff for other things. So I might look distracted, but I'm listening to the video. I'm also checking on the chat, so don't you guys worry. Alicia, how are you doing? So, yep, Alan, thanks for reminding me. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you guys haven't already. And if you guys have subscribed, then please double check that you still are subscribed because YouTube can be a little fancy about it and delete you guys off the subscribe list. Two parts is good, especially since you have to get up a lot early. Yeah. Yep. So, this is, let me switch things around. You guys go here. And video goes down here. Chat goes in front of everything. And I need to double check if everything is set up correctly, which it is. Full screen, activate. Okay. Bloop. There you go. I'll mute myself. Here's the usual rule. I will mute myself and let you guys enjoy the video and double check. Staying about an hour going to drive home. Oh, Tankrat. Safe drive. Always here lurking. Awesome. I'll unmute myself every time someone comes and goes. I'll also unmute myself whenever I feel necessary for commentary. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Halloween edition of Maritime Monday. Well, I'm glad you made it home safely, Slug. Hope you enjoyed the spam journey. Okay, Maritime Monday Halloween edition, ghost ships. Let us begin. Oh, actually, let me unmute the desktop audio. There you go. Now let's begin.
Join the membership. Let's do it. Ghost ships. All right. Because it's Maritime Monday, it wouldn't be right if we didn't do something ghostly maritime related. And that's where we're going to start the show. We're going to look at a few cases today. Let's even make this even bigger. The Mary Celeste and other ghost ships. Now, boomer warning immediately out of the gate. I am trying a new interface. So we'll have to see how well this works out. I could boomer out big time, but pray for me.
Jenny, hello.
we're going to give it our best shot.
And Bridget, hello.
Oh, Castle, kicking off these super chats before we even get into the stories. Castile, take my money, you stylish mofo. Well, thank you, you stylish Castile mofo. Andrew Bradley, Legal Vices, did you know typing in the name of a vessel and then blueprint and then PDF is amazing drawings? Oh, cool. I never thought of doing that. Cool. That'd be fun to see some blueprints. And hey, John Dunwell, thumbs up to you. Spoopy.
And
Spoopy
Cinderblocks.
ghost stories. All right.
Hello.
The first one we're going to cover, the very first ghost story that any story about ghost ships has to deal with, is the Flying Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman is sort of the origin story for ghost ships. You may have seen representations of the Flying Dutchman in Pirates of the Caribbean. You may have heard stories of the Flying Dutchman elsewhere, but we're going to watch someone else tell a story about the Flying Dutchman. With the doggies snorting in the background. I don't know if you can hear them. They always just lay so deathly quietly until I start doing something. Then they just start snorting. So dogs are in the background.
The Flying Dutchman. This is a story of a vessel.
How did that go? Did we do it? Do we have volume? That's all I need to know. I'm assuming we have volume.
And Matt, Sarah's stunt double. Good morning. How you doing? So cute, Jeff and little Jeff. And digs are cute. Yes, just Don. Digs are cute.
Just somebody, please, for the love of God, tell me we have volume on that. Come on. Tell me I got volume. Yes, we've got volume. Let's get on with the Flying Dutchman. That's all I needed to know. That was my big fear. We wouldn't have volume.
One that is the most famous and feared worldwide, better known as the Ghost Ship. Remember the episode from Scooby-Doo, Go Away Ghost Ship, or the Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean? Well, what
Muppet Outdoors. Hello, hello, hello. And yeah, just on. I was just teasing you. I knew what you're talking about. David Nelson. Hello again. My mind just blanked for a second. But yeah, hello. Also love your name up at Outdoors. That's awesome. And Angela, long time no see. How are ya?
What if we tell you the story of this one is quite similar to that of Scooby-Doo, only this time the ghosts are real. Ghost ships are invariably as scary as they sound. The Flying Dutchman has been seen in the most frequented ocean by countless vessels for over 3 centuries now. Grab your seatbelts, because if you're watching this, you've entered into the world of myths and legends of ghost ships, where today we'll be discussing a mainstay of maritime lore, a ghost ship that is doomed to sail the ocean. Just giving a heads up, it's going to be quite scary, as the story of Flying Dutchman is one that intensifies the aspect of scariness and eeriness. Before this, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell icon, because we give you content that you'll never find elsewhere. So don't waste time, hit the bell icon, and let's get started with our scary maritime story.
Well, you'll see my content everywhere. Well, the content I do. But make sure, like, subscribe, bell notification. And Sarah Beth, how are you doing? 2 streams in 1 day, loving it? Thank you. And I do like dags, Emil.
The story of the Flying Dutchman has been narrated by sailors since the 18th century. They have been informed that while working on their duties, they happened to see a ship aimlessly sailing across the body of water. The story of this vessel revolves around a European ship that was doomed to sail the sea for an eternity. And if you manage to see it somehow, you've got to be doomed. This is how the story goes.
And this is one thing that I found interesting, because I'd always heard stories of the Flying Dutchman. We played a game called Flying Dutchman when I was a kid. We did these things, but I never knew it was based on an actual ship. I just thought it was a traditional, scary, story about a ship that never existed. And Flox, member for 3 months, the bent halos and broken wings level. 3 months. How time flies when you're having fun. Hashtag pants are prison. Hashtag mocha dick. I love it here. Well, we love to have you here too, Flux. Thank you for being.
And prayers to your mom, Tammy. Hopefully she does come home tomorrow. And Angela, prayers to you too for fast recovery. Been in hospital and can't type with my right hand and shoulder surgery again. Yeah. Hope you have a fast recovery.
being part of this. Let's get back to the real story of the Flying Dutchman.
It all started in 1641 when a Dutch ship set off somewhere through the North Sea or the coast of the Cape of Good Hope, where it was condemned to sail that coast for the rest of its life. The man in charge of the ship was Captain Hendrik van der Decken, known as the proud and arrogant sea captain of the East Indies, who loved gambling his life and soul for traveling. On the other hand, some people state that he had offered his soul to the devil in exchange for the fastest vessel to have navigated the ocean, and his wish was granted. No vessel could sail faster than this. The ship of the reckless captain was so fast that it could break the winds. Now, we don't know which part of the story is true. Some say that the last statement by the captain brought about the ghostly plight of the vessel to sail the sea forever. Others claim that there was a fight between the captain and the other members of the crew in view of the captains, which led them to murder their rebellion leader. As the body of the captain floated on the surface of the ocean, the ship spoke to him about his pressed decision, to which he replied that he would be attempting to reach his destination till the day of judgment, which led to the fate of the Flying Dutchman to sail for an eternity with a crew of dead men.
Now, that's the story I've heard. I've heard that it was a mutiny and they threw him overboard and then he cursed them and condemned them with his dying breath.
Nevertheless, whatever it is, the one thing that is sure about this is the horror that is associated with the story.
Horror,
The captain
not
and crew
horror.
were sailing their way back to Europe by passing through the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. The Cape is considered to be a very dangerous place, where the freezing water from the Arctics converges with the warm water of the tropics, forming storms that no sailor with the right mind would ever traverse. The captain wanted to take a rest from the tumultuous water that slowed them down. After some time, he failed to notice a huge storm that surrounded them, and when he realized, he had already sailed straight into a fierce storm. Waves hit the ship and threatened to capsize it. The captain, along with his crew, tried very hard to battle the storm, but the wind ripped the same. Meanwhile, the captain, who was inside his cabin, wondered, "What can be the reason for this sea tormenting me?" He also questioned himself, saying, "Haven't I given the devil what all men cherish, the most in exchange for the power that will never let his powerful enemies or elements surpass him?" The captain took a silver crucifix that was hanging over his bed and stood near a table that was pondering the waves. He held it in his hand so tightly that his palms began to bleed. In his extreme anger, the captain said, "Are you punishing me for giving your soul to your rival? Is the way you are challenging and humiliating me to prove that you are supreme and that I must submit to your will, when the only thing I want is to go back home? Let me continue my journey. Leave me and my crew alone. I have the right to make deals with whoever my soul desires." The mast broke from the strike of the sea, and at one point it seemed that they had finally succeeded. But after some time, they heard the sickening crunch of a ship breaking into pieces after hitting treacherous rocks. As a result, the ship starts sinking. The waves flooded his vessel, which could barely stand afloat, which made Captain Van der Decken realize that they were on the verge of their death.
Now, here's the thing. Just a little life lesson. If you're given the opportunity, don't sell your soul to the devil. It doesn't work out. As you see, regardless of which story
Hello, Jem. How you doing? Good to see you.
is the true story behind the Flying Dutchman, it all centers around curses and selling your soul to the devil. Not a good look. D. Watt says, "I've been to the Flying Dutch Festival in the Netherlands. Does that count?" Sure it does. Why not? And Dick Saucer saying he's half Dutch. So hey, or he is Dutch or half Dutch. I didn't catch the comment before it went away. So yeah, you've got a connection to this too. And Maddie and Josh Thompson, thank you so much for the super chat. The Halloween super chats rock. Happy Halloween. Do you believe in ghosts, or have you ever had an experience you couldn't explain? Love your costume. Thank you for loving this cheap ass costume I have, but I don't believe in ghosts. I know ghosts exist. That's just all I'm going to say. I'm not going to try to convince any non-believers that they do or not, but I've moved personally past the realm of belief or not belief into knowledge and wisdom. Fair and Balanced and I, every Friday or every Friday-ish, we do a show together called The Unexplained, where we talk about spooky stuff, ghosts, paranormal, conspiracy theories, cryptid, things like that. And I've talked a few times about that. If we have enough time at the end, we'll share some ghost stories. Why not? Because it's Halloween. Oh, and for those of you that are wondering, I am drinking my favorite cocktail for autumn. It's called Autumn Leaves. A friend of mine developed it. It's Scotch, Benedictine, and sweet vermouth with a toasted star anise in it. Oh, so good, so autumn flavored, and so soothing. So thank you so much for that super chat, Maddie and Josh Thompson. Welcome. Great to have you here. Let's get back on to the spooky story.
Right at that moment, he saw his crew members getting drowned. He went to the helm, lifted his crucifix to the sky, and said, "You'll be unable to stop me. I am the Lord of the seas, and even the devil himself fears me.
Oh, see, don't
no
say that.
storm, God, or demon shall stop me."
Yeah. Oh, fuck. God dang it. All right. This is what I was talking about, the new technology I am using, and I just boomered it, and it's going to start right from... Oh, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, new technology.
The fly.
Yep. All right. So now I know what not to press.
Hitting treacherous rocks. As a result,
Hey, Melly, how are you doing? Good to see you again.
right at that moment, the devil himself fears me. No
I was going to say, don't ever say things like this either. Even the devil himself fears me. No storm, God, or demon shall stop me. Because usually bad shit happens after that.
storm, God, or demon shall stop me. He then threw the crucifix into the sea and laughed mockingly to tell God that he couldn't stop him from going to the Netherlands.
Oh, we got a
He would
kangaroo
conquer
raid.
the storm at any cost. Right at that moment, he screamed at the top of his voice, "I will round this cape, even if I have to keep sailing until the end of time." After some time from the stormy cloud, a gap opened that emitted a warm, bright, and sacred light. A mighty celestial voice spoke through it and said firmly, "Your blasphemy and arrogance are indescribable. From now on, you will be attached to what you wrongly believe. Think about it. You shall sail the ocean as pensions, restless, and without a destination. You will not have a moment of peace. The coldness of the storm will eternally be part of your flesh, and there will be no food, no drink that will calm your hunger and thirst. So it will be until doomsday."
Ooh, Halloween voice mod. Spooky stories. Welcome, Aussie Overlord Raiders. Great to have our Aussies aboard. Let's get on with the spooky story.
As soon as the majestic voice disappeared, the water of the sea became calm, as well as the intensity of the wind was lowered. A bright sun, which was hidden for several days behind the clouds, started to rise. There was a strange feeling of calmness everywhere, which frightened the crew as well as Vanderdecker, who was terrified about the heavenly warnings of God. Nevertheless, with fear in their heart, they continued their journey without much hardship. And when they finally had a glance at the port of Amsterdam on the horizon, they started heading towards it. But they realized that despite the ship making a fast movement and the clear sky allowing their smooth journey, the closer they reached, the distance seemed to get further. Decker himself could see the port, but it would arbitrarily get away as if the sea would grow larger between the vessel and the coast. At that moment, something resonated in the captain's mind. The words said by God, saying, "You shall sail restless, without a destination." Anxiety struck him. He knew
Anxiety should always strike you when the voice of the Lord your God speaks to you in his bone steel voice.
Sorry, I won't do that anymore. Back to the story.
that he had challenged God, and now the sentence against him is slowly coming true. Years passed and turned into decades and turned into centuries. The entire crew remained floating in the vessel. Slowly, the entire crew died, followed by their captain. They weren't able to abandon
Hello, Melly, how are you doing? Or, not Melly. I already said hi to Melly. Hello, Mary Jane.
the sea because of their cursed soul, even after their
course
bodies
it's cringe.
perished. And this is how the story of the Flying Dutchman unravels. In recent times, people have been giving scientific explanations about how even after centuries, the Flying Dutchman still exists. What is happening? While many blindly believed the ghost story, some people gave logical explanations. They referred to the sight of the ship as something like a superior mirage known as Fata Morgana.
The Fata Morgana thing is really fascinating. You know, it's Well, they're going to explain it, but it is really quite cool how your eyes can play tricks on you, and you see things. Like in the desert, we see mirages floating above the cities and things like that, floating above the ground, and you see that, anyway. There, he's going to describe the sea part of it. But while we're here, Rose, new member. Oh gosh, thank you so much, Rose, Mod Rose, joining the members. That is the best thing ever. And Drowon, thank you so much for the super sticker as always. Rock on, Halloween dogs. You're the best.
Scientists explain it as a natural optical phenomena that occurs when the moisture in the air and other atmospheric conditions combine to form certain lights that trick our eyes to make them appear like an object. And thus, this illusion at sea sometimes makes a ship that is beyond our naked eyes to appear as some ghostly vessel. Despite the logical explanation, many still stick to their decision of thinking
Sorry, let me go back a little bit.
ghostly vessel. Despite
The first thing that I thought of when I saw that is the band Ghost, the lead singer, how he dresses up. I don't know, probably just me. And Jenny, yeah. I did not know about this. So, yeah, it's all new to me.
Despite the logical explanation, many still stick to their decision of thinking it to be a ghost ship. Some say that it can be a ship of pirates acting like a ghost ship to raise terror and loot other ships. Since the folklore of the Flying Dutchman cannot be overruled, the
That is
skippers
true.
of the pirate vessel can take advantage of the
Arthur's
situation,
sister.
disguised as centuries-old ghost vessels rather than an actual ghost ship itself. What do you think? Would you rather believe in the scientific logic of the people or think that ghost ships exist? Let us know your opinions in the comments section below. Also, if you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell for the latest updates on existing topics.
Wow, that was the Queen Mother, the original, the OG.
The OG D Wood, how are you doing?
Ghost ship story, the Flying Dutchman. Pleb Life says, Legal Vices, I was on the other side of my house. You need to practice your Job of the Hut lines for that voice mod. I used to have the Job of the Hut lines memorized back in the day, but they've since gotten away from me. And Marloka, thank you so much for the super sticker. It's one of the green things. Apparently, drinking a glass of blood. Awesome, cool. It scares me. Government and taxes, or that's not really a Halloween fun thing. That's
Awesome, cool.
That's like a real horror story. Brooks will be cursed to have butt buddies for life. Yeah, probably. Yeah, so that's the legend. The legend that creates the legends. Randy Savage voice mod, though. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh yeah, we don't need the voice mod to do the Randy Savage voice. You just have to pump your arms and go, oh yeah, bite into a Slim Jim. Oh god, that guy's vocal cords must have been shit.
No, anyway, Wim, good morning. Morgan Le Fay is an interesting rabbit hole to go down. Morgan is an ancient Cornish word for a water spirit / fairy. Gotcha. Did you just say my name? I'm hearing things. Hey, we're all hearing things. It's okay.
All right. The Lorax has spoken. We've had the Flying Dutchman. And that's a story that's been around for 300 years. People seeing this ghostly ship sailing around on the ocean. And it's spawned these other things, the Black Pearl, as they mentioned, and other stories. It's always out there, and it's something that mariners kind of take pretty seriously.
Apples.
And I mean, it's interesting how real life things factor into these maritime stories. They talk about it, sailing around the Cape of Good Hope, which, I mean, is a ridiculously dangerous area of the sea to sail due to storms, currents and weather patterns generally and things. I mean, it makes it an incredibly dangerous place to pass through. I mean, even to the point they name it the Cape of Good Hope. And so you get the shipwrecks from there. You get these stories of some spooky things that are happening when people crash on the waves and break up on the rocks. Snap into a Slim Jim. That's right. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to scare anyone there. Well, hey, doggos. Stop it. Hey, Halloween dog. What's up? Sorry, both of the dogs are furiously licking the floor for some reason. Whatever.
And speaking of licking the floors, Astrid, how you doing? Miss your dad so much, but love to have you. Love to have you too. And hello again, Aaron. Welcome, welcome. I was gonna say something, but I blanked out, so I'll just continue on.
Anyway, we're gonna turn our story to a more modern ghost ship, perhaps the most famous ghost ship in history. That would be the Mary Celeste. Still, thank you again for the super chat. Oh yeah, the cream always rises to the top. I can't do that anymore. But thank you for the super chat. Maybe next year I should be. No, nobody wants to see me dressed up like Randy Savage. I need to get super roided though. By the way, nope. There's no food on the floor. They're just trying to get my attention. So the Mary Celeste is quite the fascinating story. I've done these sort of in order of mundaneness into the one of the last scheduled stories is just freaking weird. But the Mary Celeste is one of my favorite stories. It was one of the very first horror stories I ever read. It was in a book called The Unexplained, actually, which is why I called the show that I do with Farron and I The Unexplained.
Oh, Terry, I just read your comment, and I thought you said Dad and Yamaha Biker did do a stream together. That would be awesome. Wow. Now I want to see that. Just did a Kool-Aid man burst into the wall. Oh yeah. The Flying Dutchman is more famous. Well, depends on which part of the world you're on, or how you grew up, I guess.
This book was called The Unexplained, and there was a story about the Mary Celeste. I keep calling her Marie Celeste. The Mary Celeste. And I was reading this book about aliens and ghost ships and things when I was like 9 years old, and it's
Okay. Cinderblock brings up a good point. Super Tips could make it happen. I barely sent an email to the Super Tips people, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Coming soon, hopefully.
scared the shit out of me. So, let's take a look at some of the stories, some of the theories behind the Mary Celeste. And I love the graphics on this. The guy that did this video, I'll put up a list of all the original video channels. This guy, he doesn't have that many subscribers, but he should have a lot more than he does. This is a really good channel.
On December 5th, 1872, a Canadian brigantine named the De Gratia was sailing 400 miles.
What's the name of the ship that supposedly teleported? That's one of my favorites. That's the Philadelphia Experiment. We're going to do an entire episode on the Philadelphia Experiment. I haven't decided whether to do it on Maritime Monday or on The Unexplained. But yeah, it's the Philadelphia Experiment. Really, really cool stuff. And,
Hello, Jules.
We're going to do a whole show on that. So stand by for that, probably next month.
Miles east of the Azores when crew members noticed a ship drifting in the distance. After attempts to contact the ship failed, the captain of the De Gratia decided to take a closer look. The crew of the De Gratia recognized the ship as the Mary Celeste.
So what would that be? What would that be like? You're just out on the seas. You're sailing in the middle of essentially nowhere, just minding your own business, and you see a ship that's just sitting there, and you recognize the ship,
which departed weeks earlier and was already supposed to reach its destination in Italy. Upon this closer inspection, the ship, despite being in perfectly usable condition, was found to have no one on board. Further searching found the belongings of the ship's crew, the 1,700 barrels of cargo, and a 6-month supply of food, all still on the ship.
So then you go on this ship and you find it in this condition. It's totally empty. There should be 10 people on board. All the food is there. All the cargo's there. Not a soul to be seen.
But not a single individual of the 10-person crew was anywhere to be seen.
I don't hear it, Aaron. I don't hear it. But hey, it can be soon if I get like some sort of a voice changer button. And Lily Wolves, how are ya? Good to see you. Good to see you. I think I know this one. Well, hey, we'll see if you can actually do remember and actually know this.
So what could have happened to them? Where could they have gone? Let's take a closer look into the mystery of the Mary Celeste to try and figure out what really could have happened to the 10 missing members of the crew. Over the years, theories ranging from a pirate invasion, a mutiny, or even an attack from a sea monster have been proposed. But the story of the ship begins all the way back in 1861, when it wasn't even named the Mary Celeste.
Ooh, we have Drew Bradley asking, what would it be? Creepy and get the F out of there, lol. Just wait till the next story. You'll probably start hearing eerie music playing. Just wait.
On December 5th, 1872, a Canadian
Why did it do that? There we go.
all the way back in 1861, when it wasn't even named the Mary Celeste. In May of 1861, the Mary Celeste was called the Amazon, and it was used as a trading vessel.
You are
The
correct.
bad luck of the ship begins all the way back at its start. On its first voyage, the Amazon had trouble initially setting sail, and the captain even contracted pneumonia and died as a result. Over the next few years, the ship went about its normal business until it
Is it a... God damn it, I've got to stop doing that. Like I said, this is a brand new technology I'm using for me because I'm an old boomer ass. But I promise I won't do anything stupid like that again.
the ship went
I'll probably lie, but I'm going to promise.
Yeah, Kiwi, it's all good. It's all good. All jokes and fun here.
So the theory here and some of the great stories are that this is a cursed ship from the beginning. Like I said, the captain dies of pneumonia, and then some other bad shit happens before it even becomes the Mary Celeste. And Mr. Anticom says, if you ain't playing the Edmund Fitzgerald, go back about 3 months in my Maritime Monday. We did a full show on the Edmund Fitzgerald. Amazing story. All right, but let's get back to this cursed ship and people dying and other things happening on board. All right, I just promised I wouldn't do that again. Like I said, this new slide technology, I'm learning. I'm like Joe Biden. I'm learning where I can touch and where I can't touch. Now I know where I can't touch.
pneumonia and died as a result. Over the next few years, the ship went about its normal business until in 1867, the ship crashed ashore on Cape Breton Island.
Now, see, that's what you do here. I did that one on purpose. This was to show all of you that are saying, no, just press spacebar. This isn't YouTube. This is new interface technology I'm putting to work here. So yeah, pressing the spacebar doesn't do it. I just have to be very, very careful where I touch the screen. Oh,
And
someone
pneumonia
just
and died as
unsubscribed.
a result. Over the next few years, the ship went about its normal business until in 1867, the ship crashed ashore on Cape Breton Island, and the investors behind the ship weren't able to salvage it at the time. A man named Alexander McBean then acquired the ship and was able to pull it from the island. It was then sold to a man named John Howard Beatty, who sold it to another man named Richard W. Haynes. Haynes made numerous repairs to the ship and renamed it to the Mary Celeste, but it turned out that the thousands of dollars he put into the vessel had put him into some serious debt, and the ship was then confiscated by his creditors. It was eventually sold to a New York shipping company and placed under the command of Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs. Briggs was known as an intelligent, well-respected sailor with over 18 years of experience, but it was under his command that the crew of the ship vanished without a trace. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste set off from New York Harbor for Genoa, Italy.
So this is the start of the famous voyage. And again, we have to stop the videos every now and then just to keep the copyright cucks off our back. While we're doing this, we'll clear a few of these here. Morgana was a student of Merlin, correct? Yes, Morgana Le Fay was King Arthur's sister, and she went and studied and eventually was a rival to Merlin. Drew Bradley. Oh, we already read that one. Yes, just wait for the next story. Flux. Laughing my ass off. Joe Biden is creepy. Yeah, that'd be the creepiest of the Halloween costumes, wouldn't it? To be Uncle Sniffer. Anyway. Not going to be political here. Corn Pop, Legal Vices. Are you going to cover the scheduling hearing for Darrell Brooks at 1 p.m. Eastern today? I just assume nobody would want to watch I don't even know if it's going to be streamed. I just assumed it wouldn't be streamed. I was just thinking, why would anybody want to watch a bunch of lawyers sit around and compare notes about scheduling? But if you want me to, I suppose I can take a little nap and stay up for it. I mean, if people want to watch that, let me know. I mean, it's literally just going to be. It could be fun because Darrell Brooks has to give his comments on scheduling for victim impact statements. All right, what the fuck? I'll try to stay awake. Okay, yeah, plan on it. All right, check back later. You say it's 1 p.m. Eastern. It's 2 a.m. here. Yeah, why not? I can do it. It'll be short. All right, let's get back to our Halloween ghost ship. The Mary Celeste has now set sail. And that's not really where New York is, by the way, whoever made this video. It's more kind of over here. Anyway, set sail for Italy. What could possibly go wrong on this voyage?
The ship was loaded with 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol for delivery. The members of the ship consisted of Briggs, his wife, their 2-year-old daughter, and a crew of 7 men. Briggs was actually a part owner of the vessel as well, so he took much care in selecting these members of the crew and thought of them to be a great group. Less than a month after the Mary Celeste had sailed, a Canadian brigantine named the De Gratia, led by Captain David Morehouse, spotted it set at full sail 400 miles east of the Azores, a small set of islands in the mid-Atlantic. When the Mary Celeste failed to respond to attempted signals, 3 members of the De Gratia were dispatched aboard it, but upon reaching the ship, not a single member of the crew was still on board. The boat was still fully intact with all of its cargo and the crew's belongings still present. There didn't seem to be any signs of violence, and the only damage to the ship was minor enough that it shouldn't have caused any difficulty for the crew.
So that wouldn't be mutiny. I mean, there's not a struggle. There's not a fight. Nobody's fighting for control of this vessel. So, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Mutiny makes 0 sense at all, objectively or subjectively.
Like the 3.5 feet of water resting at the bottom of the ship. The only thing that seemed out of place on the ship was the one lifeboat, which was missing along with the navigation book, chronometer, and sextant. The ship's entry log was found in the mate's cabin and was dated for November 25th at 8 a.m., 10 days before it was found by the De Gratia. It stated that the ship was about 6 miles off the coast of Santa Maria, one of the islands in the Azores. Reports were logged on an hourly basis, so whatever happened to the Mary Celeste must have happened shortly thereafter.
Well, see, now this is an important thing to know about ships. That captain's logbook is, especially back then, is one of the absolute most integral and important parts of the entire ship. That has all of your maps, that has all of your passage routes, that has all of your speeds, your weather conditions, your historical data is in that book. If you leave a ship, that is the one thing you want to take with you. And even today, if there's an abandoned ship incident where everybody has to abandon ship, if you have time, 100% of the time, without fail, that is the one thing that the captain or the master of the ship will always take, the logbooks, because that is the most important document for documenting the course, the position, the speed, the weather, everything to do with the voyage. And back then, captains protected those things because they knew the routes they knew the ways to get places faster, and they didn't want those routes to become public knowledge, so they would protect those logbooks. And so the fact that the master would leave the logbook is extremely unusual in any situation. So yeah, that's some more food for thought. For something extraordinary happened.
That would make it almost a week and a half that the Mary Celeste had been drifting on the ocean with absolutely no crew. According to the documents on the ship, it drifted over 700 kilometers in that time. The De Gratia then took the Mary Celeste to Gibraltar and explained their side of the story.
So what they did is they said, okay, we found the ship, we found this situation, and they actually sailed the ship there. They don't really explain it so much in this video, but they put some of their crew onto the Mary Celeste and sailed it back to port, which may or may not have been good.
The ship was then sold to new owners in a salvage trial.
Oh, hello. Hello, Cindy Miles. Good to see you. How are you doing?
So what could have happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? There are numerous theories as to
Yes.
what could have possibly happened to the crew, but we'll start by taking a look at the most popular and plausible. The first theory was that there was a mutiny. Due to
Doesn't
the
make
cargo of the
sense.
ship being alcohol, when 9 of the barrels on board were actually found empty, the court in charge of the case suggested that the crew could have become drunk off the cargo and proceeded to not only kill Briggs and his family, but then also flee the ship. However, Briggs's reputation as a captain was nothing but fair and generous to his crew, so a mutiny wouldn't make much sense.
Okay, there's a couple of problems with that. That again, they don't really go into detail here. One, again, there was no violence. There was no signs of a struggle. There's no blood laying around. There's no, gouges. There's no weapons. It's that's just not there. It's non-existent. And also, they're talking about the cargo. There's the 1,700 barrels of denatured alcohol. What is denatured alcohol? Denatured alcohol is it's essentially just like pure alcohol that they put additives in it to make it poisonous. It's like how they do with the gasoline at the pump. That gasoline has no smell of its own. They add shit to it to make it so people don't do dumb shit, so it's there. And there's stories. If you go, and it's something that everybody likes to talk about when they talk about the government conspiracies and the government out to get us. They talk about back during Prohibition. They said the government poisoned people with poisoned alcohol. Wrong. That meme, that story is absolutely false. The government did not poison people. Prohibition came into effect. The laws against consumption and possession and production of alcohol went into place, but you could still make medical grade alcohol, and occasionally a limited amount of alcohol that could be used for medical purposes.
Well, here's a easy summarization by T-Rex. Thanks for the 5. Denatured alcohol, aka rubbing alcohol, aka isopropyl alcohol. So, okay, Mary Jane, when you first start making alcohol, it always comes out as denatured alcohol. Then you add stuff to it to make it drinkable. So, yes, is the answer to your question. It always starts off with like the most strongest, purest alcohol, and then you slowly add stuff to it to kind of lower the alcohol percentage.
So there was a lot of people that needed prescriptions for alcohol back in the day, but the medical grade, like rubbing alcohol kind of stuff, people were drinking it. So what the government did is they denatured it. They put poisonous chemicals in it to make it smell like shit, to make it taste like shit, to make you violently ill when you drink it. And so that's how they tried to dissuade the people from drinking alcohol during Prohibition. But they drank it anyway. And they say upwards of like 3,000 people died from drinking denatured alcohol. It wasn't the government poisoning people. It was the government trying to prevent people from killing themselves by adding shit to the alcohol to make it unpalatable, to make it so they didn't go blind crazy and die. But people drank it anyway. So anytime you hear the story about how the government poisoned its own people by poisoning the alcohol during Prohibition, now you know the rest of the story. That's the true story. They made it denatured alcohol so that people wouldn't poison themselves, but people chose to drink it and poison themselves anyway. And that's what they're doing on this ship. They have denatured alcohol. So to say that people are drinking it is insane. They would not drink this if they can't wait a few weeks to get to their port to drink alcohol. They got problems. And they would have had a lot more problems rather than getting drunk and killing the captain. They would have had problems going blind, dying, having the most amazing stomach cramps you've ever had in your life. So this mutiny story holds absolutely zero water with me.
Cinder block for tires. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about how I know it. T-Rex, thanks for the 10. Appreciate you. Remember, kids, your bottle of Everclear in a pinch is just good as your bottle of rubbing alcohol for cleaning wounds. I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. Well, it's medical advice for the truckers, I guess. Hello, Bridget. What in the world? Hey, we're learning about Maritime Monday Halloween edition ghost ships and turned into a alcohol rant.
So to speak, because it's a ship. Hold water, get it.
Instead, the theory of pirates is a better solution. This theory gained popularity due to the fact that the crew seemingly abandoned the ship while it was in perfectly usable condition. The area the ship was traveling through was known to be a hotspot for pirates off the coast of Morocco. However, the fact that the entire cargo and the crew's belongings still remained on the ship didn't make much sense. If pirates had actually come into contact with the ship, then why didn't they take anything? This led some to believe that the pirates actually came from the De Gratia's crew. When the De Gratia arrived in Gibraltar, along with the Mary Celeste, some speculated that the De Gratia's crew was involved in something shady. The reason for this is linked to an old maritime law that states that any person who helps recover another person's ship or cargo is entitled to a reward.
Okay, that's interesting. Before we get there, Daryl Smith, thank you so much for your super chat. That is awesome. Nobody be drinking denatured alcohol. Absolutely right. Unless they intentionally want to delete themselves from the gene pool or at least make a good effort at it. And that's what a lot of people did during Prohibition, but I can't see the crew here who would have some grog or they're weeks away from getting some real alcohol. Plus, what about the woman, his wife and child, the captain's wife and child? Were they part of this booze, murder fest that they're looking at?
Yeah, so cinder block for tires. The way you actually do that is, I'm just kidding. Equality. Hey Connor. Hey Chad. Gotta take my son to soccer in a couple minutes. Just want to say hi. Hey, hope your son does a good job in the game, and thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, Maddie Grimm says if you do that, that's talking about doing the Brook stream later. Let's make a drinking game out of it. The drinking game we'll do is that if you pay me, I'll drink. super chats equal drinks during that stream. Yeah, we'll worry about that at that time. Yeah, nobody be drinking teenage alcohol. We just read that. So what they're talking about here is the law of salvage. Back then, the law was essentially that if you find a derelict vessel, or if you find sunken gold treasure, if you find something, it's the possession is 9/10 of the law deal. You can claim it and you get a portion of it. The government might want some or whatever, depending on what it is. But ordinarily, you got to keep it. You find it, you get a reward, you get a portion of whatever is there. It's the costs of whatever you put into rescuing and salvaging this vessel, plus a portion of whatever was there back in the day. So what they're doing, they're bringing suspicion on them. It's like, oh, we found this ship full of 1,700 barrels of expensive and valuable alcohol. So we get it. So they think, they were the pirates. They captured and killed the crew of the Mary Celeste for the sole purpose of taking possession of the ship, claiming it was abandoned, claiming it was a salvage job, and thereby claiming a part of the cargo and the value of the cargo and whatnot. So that's like witnessing a murder and calling the police, and then the police going, "You were the last person to see this person alive, weren't you? Where were you 10 minutes ago?" And putting the suspicion on you, the person who is trying to help, as the person who perpetrated the misdeed.
In addition, the captain of the DeGratia, Captain Morehouse, was friends with Captain Briggs. The two even had dinner together the night before the Mary Celeste began on its voyage. However, after a multi-month-long investigation, the court found no proof that this was the case. It is important to note, though, that the ship's insurer only paid out 1/6 of the payment the crew would normally receive for recovering the boat, meaning that the insurers were not fully convinced that the DeGratia's crew was innocent. Natural disasters were also a popular theory, specifically a waterspout or earthquake. The waterspout
This is a stupid fucking theory to me. Sorry, I shouldn't curse yet. This is a stupid theory to me. The water spouts and earth, I mean, they just make no sense at all. You be the judge. Let's see if any of this next little bit, and this is one of the legitimate theories for the Mary Celeste, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And while I've stopped this, for those of you that are here that have not hit that like button, please do. We've got 752 people and only 400 likes right now. So we could double that. Let's get this up to 700 likes right now. Even if you don't like it, just hit that like button. But I know you like it because you've been here for more than 30 seconds. The average viewership is like 17 minutes. If you're here for 17 minutes and don't hit that like button, shame on you. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We need to get up to 32,000 subscribers by Friday. We need 118 more subscribers in the next few days. It's not going to happen, but I hold that little dream deep in my little heart. Kamarosa says, Kamasori says, come to Sapporo this winter. Let's drink in the snow. I really, really, really want to get to Hokkaido soon, but I'll probably get to Hokkaido in the spring. But I do plan on going to Tokyo because we can now. I do plan on going to Tokyo probably next week. But yeah, I want to get up to Hokkaido to do some distillery tours up there. But cheers. I will announce it here. And anybody that's in Japan, let's hang.
Send a block for tires. I made my own makgeolli. Authentic or not, completely worth it. Ooh, nice. Ah, Miss Shelley, how are ya? Good to see you. How you doing? Hope you're having a good Memorial Day so far. Dang good to see ya. So, makgeolli is more of a... It can either be a rice base or a potato base alcohol. It's not as strong as soju, but it is nice, sweet. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's pretty much rice wine, yes. What? A rice wine. Yeah. Yep. And T-Rex, thanks for the 5. Gotta love your dad grifting for you so you don't have to do it. Hey, why do you think I'm doing this? Maritime Monday stream. Shh, I didn't say that. Creamy color. Yep. Exactly, Aaron. Exactly. Bring Jeffo back. I know some people.
Let's hang. I plan on probably going on a Friday night and coming back Sunday night, or even just leave Saturday morning and come back to Korea on Sunday because we're such close neighbors. So, Japan tour incoming. Stand by. 17 minutes is for cucks. I've been lurking since 5 minutes in. Congratulations to you, 5-ton 3D gamer. You rock. And this is interesting. Isabel Rennie. Oh, Jeff, you seen the video of the frozen girl on the moon? It's spooky. No, I have never heard of this. Please send a link to me on Twitter.
Wait, hold up. Cinderblock, if it's stronger than soju, then you're doing something wrong. It's not supposed to be stronger than soju.
At The Legal Vices, or send me an email to thelegalvices@gmail.com. That would be awesome. That sounds really cool. I'm totally into that. Please, 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 please send it. And Chris Smith Curry, great Halloween edition. Love ghost ship stories. We're just getting started. We're 2 in. I think we have 4 to go. So I think we should get back to it. But thank you so much for that super chat. You guys rock. I am so happy to hear. We're going to finish this month strong. Spooky ghost stories. I almost clicked the wrong area. Don't never touch the wrong area. Always touch the right area. Oh, we got one more super chat incoming before we get back into the story. Wait, Flux says, yeah, Frozen Girl on the Moon sounds awesome. I totally agree with you. And here we go. Maddie Graham, thank you so much. Yo ho ho, a pirate's life for me. Arr. See, I always miss like Speak Like a Pirate Day. I always hear about it the next day. I need to set like an alarm on my calendar because I really want to go arr for like an entire day and watch the Koreans in my office go, what the fuck? Okay.
The theory has been fairly popular due to the fact that 3.5 feet of water actually filled the bottom of the ship. While the ship didn't have a leak itself, and the water most likely came from above due to a wave or waterspout, faulty instruments on board could have led the crew to believe that there was a more serious problem with the ship. When the De Gratia crew initially boarded the Mary Celeste, they attempted to use the ship's sounding rod, an instrument used to see how much water is on board the ship. However, the Mary Celeste didn't have a proper sounding rod. Instead, the crew found a makeshift rod that was out of place. And so, after water filled up the ship, the improper rod could have led the crew to believe there was more water on board than there actually was, and evacuated to the lifeboat instead. As for an earthquake, it's been confirmed that an earthquake.
Now, for that water spout thing, I mean, that's got to have so many things you have to have. Why wouldn't they record a water spout in the logbook? Why wouldn't they record this anomaly? And why wouldn't they know that the water on the deck had flooded into the hold? Why wouldn't they know that was? Why wouldn't they go down and check and just even the sounding? Okay, what a sounding is, for those of you that don't know, I mean, sounding is just basically taking the depth of the water. Back in the day, they probably had a rope with knots tied at regular intervals. They would drop.
My mind was in the wrong place when he said that. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed. That's all I have to say.
Drop it in with a weight attached to it, and then they would bring it back up and see how wet the rope was so they'd know how deep the water was, or they'd have some other kind of gauge. So yeah, but they would have to be complete idiots to think that there
No, Mary Jane, I will not explain at all.
was a problem with their gauge and abandon ship over a faulty reading. When you can look into the hold and see that things aren't sinking, when you can see it's not rising, you wouldn't just do one sounding and go, holy fuck, we got to abandon ship. You would do multiple soundings to see how much water is coming on, how fast the water is coming on. So the whole water spout thing just, again, doesn't hold any water for me. Earthquake, I don't even begin to understand this silliness. Maddie Graham, the Flying Dutchman, that was the one we talked about just before this. I don't know if you were here for then, but yeah, the Flying Dutchman was the first story we did today. And Billy Anderson, everyone's talking about the other sounding. The other sounding. What other sounding?
The other one was what I was thinking about, not what he was thinking about.
Now I'm confused. If you send me cryptic messages like this, send me the decoder key to Billy Anderson. I don't know what you're talking about. The other sounding. Jeff doesn't know about sounding. Uh-oh. Is this an Urban Dictionary thing? Oh, Lord have mercy. Sounding, Urban Dictionary. Why? Why? No.
I love the subtitles.
Purge, delete. No. You degenerates. Why are you pointing me to shit like that? No. Anybody that has not looked up sounding on Urban Dictionary, do not do so. I strongly warn you against it. I would prefer you sell your soul to Satan than read the paragraph that I just read. Why? No. God damn it, no. I'm traumatized. I just want to cancel the stream now. Go throw up, curl up in the shower, fully clothed, cry a little bit, and go to sleep after reading that. And look what you made me do. You made me touch the screen in the wrong place again.
T-Rex, thanks for the 5. Did you tell us you're into Sherbury? What? I don't know what that is. Mary Jane, if you're really, 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 really curious, and and Alan, go to Urban Dictionary and search it up yourself. I will not be doing it on my stream. Thank you, and let's continue. Chickens might think my brew is an abomination, but I like it way better than the fruit flavored makgeolli or even soju abominations that are available in the US. So those fruit ones are available in Korea as well, but yeah, I prefer the original flavors of everything. And you know what? For brewing your own alcohol, as long as you enjoy it, that's all it matters. If you enjoy it, then you did good. If you don't enjoy it, then you messed up. Sorry, I was hitting all the wrong buttons. It is better than degloving. Yes, D-What.
No. Ugh. Ugh. All right. Earthquakes. Ugh.
Capable of affecting the ship took place while it was at sea, led the crew to believe there was more water.
Seriously. Shame on you people. Blech. Damn it. I hate every last one of you in chat. Faith Diamond, do you need a cranial saw and an ice cream scoop? Please frontal lobotomize me. I don't want to remember this. Holy God. All right. Blech. Yeah, we tried to warn you. That's like telling a child not to stick beans up his nose, for God's sake, because you know where every single last one of those beans is going. Right up his nose. Tell me not to look at something, and what the hell do you expect me to do? All right, let's get on with this weird earthquake theory.
On board than there actually was, and evacuated to the lifeboat instead. As for an earthquake, it's been confirmed that an earthquake capable of affecting the ship took place while it was at sea. It's even possible that this earthquake caused the 9 barrels of alcohol that were empty to leak, causing a panic. In fact, the 9 barrels of alcohol that were empty were made from red oak, which is weaker than the white oak the others were made from. So even if it wasn't from the earthquake exactly, the 9 empty barrels have a decent chance of being involved in some way.
See, I don't understand that. Why would 9 empty barrels, why would 9 leaky barrels cause a panic? That doesn't make any sense to me.
In 2006, Dr. Andrea
Stop talking about sounding, goddammit.
Stella created a replica of the Mary Celeste cargo hold and used butane gas to simulate an explosion similar to what could have happened on the ship. He swapped out the barrels for paper cubes to try and see if an explosion could have been the cause. When the gas was lit on fire, a large flame arose. However, the paper cubes did not receive any sort of scorching or burning. This proposed a new theory that the leaking barrels made from the weaker oak wood caused a gas explosion capable of causing the crew to rush aboard the lifeboat without actually leaving much of a trace of the explosion itself. As interesting and plausible as this theory is, it wouldn't make much sense that after rushing to the lifeboat and realizing that the ship was not actually going to explode, the crew didn't go back to the Mary Celeste. Of course, it was found set at full sail, so perhaps by the time they realized the ship was okay, it was too late. The last plausible theory
Okay, the problem with that is those old lifeboats could maybe hold 6 people, usually 4 people, and you could squeeze 5 in. There was 10 people. There's no way 10 people could have got in one lifeboat on those vessels back then. They just were not made that way.
was proposed in a 2007 documentary, The True Story of the Mary Celeste. In the Smithsonian documentary, a team led by Anne McGregor showed a fair bit of evidence that the Mary Celeste could actually have been lost. Using models, it was shown that the Mary Celeste was around 120 miles off course when it was abandoned. However, due to their faulty tools on board, they thought that they were much closer to land. Perhaps the crew abandoned the ship in a panic, believing that they could reach land on the lifeboat, before realizing that they were much further away than they anticipated. Although this theory brings new evidence to the table, in the end, it still remains just a theory.
Now, see, that doesn't make any sense either. The Smithsonian finding doesn't make sense. What? Somebody tell me why it doesn't make sense. We'll back up just a little bit here. The idea that they were in lifeboats and things happened and the vessel sailed away. Well, they would have had at least one person on board. No, not necessarily.
Realizing that they were much further away than they anticipated. Although this theory brings new evidence
What
to the
else?
table, in the end, it's still
Somebody who was paying attention at the beginning. They're lost. Why would they not just jump off the ship, jump in a lifeboat, and hopefully sail away, and then go, "Oh my God, the ship's okay. And they can't get back." Because when the vessel was
Just on, I am sorry for Levy's trauma.
found, it had 6 months worth of food still intact. You can't carry 6 months worth of food in a little life raft. And like I said, they wouldn't have, like the first sign of fire, you wouldn't abandon ship. You would try to put the fire out. You would try to extinguish the fire. And again, there was no hint of any burnt timbers or anything like that. That wouldn't just be like, "Oh my God, I see a flame. Everybody get off the ship." That's the first part of the problem. The second part of the problem is the food is on the ship. That's where you want to stay as long as possible. But insurance fraud, yeah. But still, where's the people?
remains just a theory, and it still seems unclear as to why an experienced captain would give the call to abandon ship.
Well, it was a mass alien abduction case solved. That is actually one of the theories that's out there. If you do a search for Mary Celeste alien abduction, you'll get quite a few Google articles showing up, or articles on Google showing up. That's one of the things that people are positing, but the Flying Dutchman got them. That could be the Flying Dutchman getting them is probably more plausible than aliens, but a series of bats. I still love that name. Thank you so much. You should only engage in. Do I have to finish the sentence? You should only engage in sounding while on a boat in a sound, trying to keep up with the maritime theme. You should never, ever, 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 ever engage in sounding unless it's legit sounding on board a vessel. Shame on you for anything else. All right, let's wrap up the Mary Celeste.
An action usually reserved as a last resort when the ship is surely to go down. Of course, there are always the theories that the ship was abandoned due to aliens or a sea monster, but it seems strange that the crew would leave a large ship for a lifeboat under those circumstances. So I think we can rule those out for now. As for any evidence of the crew and lifeboat being found, the only possible lead was a couple of fishermen finding what appeared to be 2 makeshift rafts off the coast of Spain. One of the rafts even had an American flag attached to it, but whether or not this is the final resting place of the Mary Celeste crew was never confirmed.
Now there are also theories out there. There's a couple things. Well, let's just finish up, then we'll talk about other theories and other things.
It seems like we may never know what truly happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste, but it certainly seems like there is more to this mystery that we still have yet to uncover. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the video and taking a look into this mysterious case with me. If you enjoyed, please.
All right. Oh, we can move on to the next one here. Move on. Okay. The next story we'll be doing is the ghost ship Octavius. But in the meantime, it was Dracula. Yeah, could have been. It's not Muslim slavers either. Anyway, so there's a couple of another theory is that somehow, I mean, not going to Spain, but somehow they sailed to Iceland. So they all in. I don't think it's possible to go from the Azores to Iceland in a little tiny rowboat without food and water. I don't know. It seems really, really, really unreasonable to me, but maybe it could happen. I don't know. But sailing or rowing to Iceland is another theme. But also, like I said, there's the aliens, there's things like that. But one of the interesting stories, and they didn't talk about it in this, but there is another story surrounding the Mary Celeste. Like I said, when they brought it back to port, they didn't tie it off. The ship that brought it into port took part of their crew, put it on the Mary Celeste, and sailed it along with the other vessel to Gibraltar. But there's a weird story that while they were sailing towards Gibraltar, a fog settled in around only the Mary Celeste. The fog didn't surround the other vessel, and they sailed that way, and then until morning, and then when they got, then the fog dissipated, and then when they got to Gibraltar, none of the crew on the Mary Celeste would talk about the fog or what happened while it was in the fog. That's one story, unsubstantiated, of course, but that's one of the legends that's going on around the Mary Celeste. Now, I love the name Freya and Octavia. Well, it's very Norse and Roman of you. So, I guess now.
Hey, Lefty, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Now might be a good time to talk about some spooky. There's a show out there called Ghost Ship, which is a pretty cool old movie about a ghost ship. That's a good one to watch. There's a show they remade called The Fog, but the original The Fog back in the day scared the fucking shit out of me. It scared me to death. The new Fog is kind of lame. But like the old movie, The Fog, I would recognize that you go watch. I would recommend that you go watch. Oh yeah, what happens in the fog stays in the fog. Yeah, I would recommend that you go watch the movie The Fog, the old one, the original one. It is like early '80s, I believe it was, maybe late '70s. But cool show. It's about this town, this little seaside maritime town that every 100 years on this certain night, the ghosts from a ship come in and.
Melly, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good night.
If you're outside, you're doomed. It was a cool show that scared the shit out of me. I have no idea why my parents let me watch that show so young, but I watched it and it scared me to death. And so, I mean, it's cheesy as hell. I mean, the effects clearly didn't age well, but the nostalgia factor is strong for the old Fog. Yeah. Wait, where'd it go? Ghost Ship is a solid horror flick. Yeah, it is. Yeah, John Carpenter. John Carpenter was a man. Yeah, Philadelphia Experiment. That's a great movie, great story. We'll be talking about that. Here we are. S Infinity Love. The old Fog was good. Old movies are better, in my humble. Yeah, I didn't like the new Fog at all. There was also The Mist was great. I mean, not really maritime related, but yeah, the movie Mist was one of the few Stephen King related things that the movie was actually better than the book. And I love that Stephen King said, I hated the movie because I didn't think of that ending. He said that ending was brutal and he wishes he would have thought of it. There was another movie that I saw.
Yeah, the Mist movie I loved. The Mist TV show that I believe was on Netflix for a little bit, I could not finish it at all.
I saw recently. I can't remember what the name of it was. It was like this. It was kind of this multi-dimensional time traveling thing where these guys, this group of people, went on a cruise vessel and it was empty, except for there was other people that were on that cruise ship that seemed to be like trying to kill them and seeming to know
Hey, flux sighting drink.
where they were. There was like three groups of people that were on this ship, all trying to kill each other. I can't remember what it was called, but that was a really, really wild movie. If somebody knows what the hell I'm talking about, put it in the chat because I can't remember for the life of me what it was called. Like there's this group of people that get on the boat. Uh, that's going to be the creepy last one we talk about today. Oh no, nobody knows. No, not the Titanic. Triangle. That's what it was called. Was it called Triangle? Was it called Triangle? Triangle movie. Yes. That was a weird ass movie. Triangle is another spooky ship related story. Yeah, watch it. don't spoil it there in chat. Triangle is weird. Stop talking about virus. Virus has nothing to do with the ship. But yeah, so those are my favorite maritime related spooky stories. If you want a good HP Lovecraft story that doesn't really have anything to do with boats, but still has to do with the maritime community, the HP Lovecraft movie Dagon. Dagon is an amazing. It's a black and white Spanish movie that needs to be watched. It's kind of black and white. Yeah, it's a Spanish movie. Watch it. Dagon is called. It's about it's based on this HP Lovecraft story, Shadow over Innsmouth, which is my favorite HP Lovecraft story. But the movie Dagon is really, really super cool. Yeah, Triangle. Another is Deep Rising. Deep Rising. Have I seen Deep Rising? Sea monster movie. Haven't seen it. Speed 2. Don't watch Speed 2. That's not a great horror movie. No, Battleship was just a horror. That wasn't a horror movie.
Mary Jane, no, bad.
Oh Lord. All right. Like I said, we legalize hello, waiting to go on the doctors, waiting to go to the doctor soon. Oh damn. Hope it's nothing serious. Yeah, Dagon is also a separate Lovecraft story, but the movie Dagon is based on Shadow over Innsmouth, which is my favorite. Oh, seriously? They're doing Shadow over Innsmouth like they did Color Out of Space. Color Out of Space with Nicolas Cage is probably the best, like all around HP Lovecraft inspired horror movie. I mean, you get into like the old campy stuff like Reanimator. That's an awesome, awesome story. That's a great campy movie. But as far as just like weirdness, Nicolas Cage really, really made Color Out of Space the perfect show it is. Now, Cruel Sea isn't a horror, but it's great. We'll have to see. Now, for those of you that just for the hell of it, Event Horizon. Event Horizon was that was a 1981 science fiction deal.
Black Eyed Sue. How are you doing? Love this so much with your dad. Thank you. And thank you for being here. And ghosts. Ghost ship. Yerp. Jeff had secret love for Nicolas Cage, didn't he? I don't know. He only bought a giant blanket of his face, so you tell me. Should kind of learn about Mandy Caravicious? Is that how you say it? I don't know. Maybe. Do I? I don't know.
I guess it was like a ship in space. That was pretty cool. Yeah, we can call that a maritime thing. It was a spaceship. But that had a really freaking scary ending. But I'm a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan. This is my book, the complete collection of H.P. Lovecraft stories. 24 karat gold gilt edge, blue leather binding with a satin frontispiece and whatnot. That's my Bible. I read this like every day. I love that book. Anywho, let's talk about the ghost ship.
And Kaiser in the house. Howdy in chat. Sorry I'm late, dad duties and all. No problem. 3D life is always first. But good to see ya. Someone else made a buy a blanket from a super chat and Timu. Yep, I have the blanket now. Speed 2 was haunted by a ghost of Keanu rejection.
Octavius. We're getting weirder and weirder as we go along here. And while we're getting weirder and weirder, the 864 of you that are watching this Halloween Maritime Monday special, go down there and hit that like button. I'm really, really happy that we've picked up a few subscribers along the way. We've picked up 10 subscribers so far. We're at 31,886. So now we only need 114 by Friday to get up to 32,000. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Let's get the numbers up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification. I'm happy. All right, before we get into the ghost ship Octavius and related stories, Megalodon. Megalodon probably didn't kill the Mary Celeste, but that would be really cool if it did. Flux, have you seen the old black and white movie, The Brain That Wouldn't Die? Oh yeah, I that's also one of my favorite Mystery Science Theater 3000 episodes, The Brain That Wouldn't Die. The woman yeah, great film. Enraged Bacon. The USS Salem in Quincy, Mass. is a well-known haunted ship and was featured on a couple shows dealing with paranormal activity. They do paranormal tours. Yeah, there's a lot of haunted ships. The Queen Mary is supposed to be one of the most haunted ships ever. There's a couple of Navy ships, the Salem and a couple of others that are supposed to be really, really haunted. I wish we had time to do all of these cool stories. Haunting in Connecticut scared the shit out of me. Wasn't that the that was kind of supposed to be like a more accurate story of one of the other great horror films? I can't remember what it was, but yeah, Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever was hilarious.
Hey, Heather May. Hope you're doing good too. I'm doing awesome. Good to see ya. And just in case you guys didn't know, he's dressed up as the Jurassic World old guy with the little cane from the first movie.
No, Sharknado is not a horror film. All right, the ghost ship Octavius. We're getting degrees of weirdness in here. This is the next level of weirdness. The ghost ship Octavius is so bizarrely weird. And I told you, people are saying like, oh, it would be scary. There'd be scary music coming and you'd be scared as AF and you'd run away. This is where we start getting a lot creepier with the story. This story is so creepy and so well known in other places that there's actually kind of a weird
Yeah, it's Jurassic Park, my bad. I get confused by the two. I'm sorry. Marianne Fields. I'm glad you're playing your dad's vids. I'm glad you're here. Sharknado is a horrible movie. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time on it. I hated that movie. I can't believe they have multiple of those. They should just burn it down. The end.
like ballad metal. ballad metal group out there called Ghost Ship Octavius. If you get really bored and want to check out some of their music, go to YouTube and search for Ghost Ship Octavius. It's kind of like an emo metal band. They've got a hot chick that plays bass guitar and some long-haired thin dude that sings metal ballads. So this Ghost Ship Octavius has inspired a metal band. Best MS3K, says Baloney Bong, was Godzilla versus Megalon. Oh, for me, it was Attack of the Eye Creatures. That was my favorite MSD 3000, but all the Godzillas come. Mothra was a good one. All the Godzilla MSD 3Ks are awesome, but Attack of the Eye Creatures is my favorite MSD 3K show of all.
Alan says the ring freaked me the fuck out. It didn't frighten me, it just made my skin crawl. Same with that Japanese film with Buffy Vampire Slayer in it with the creepy boy. Can't remember its name. I can't remember its name either, but I think I know what you're talking about. Love Sharknado movies after the one got stupid. After like the first few minutes of the first one, it got stupid for me. I don't need Sharknado. I live in Oklahoma. We have Quake-nados. Ooh, that's rough. Name of the movie, The Killer Eye, is inspired by the episode of Cartoon Freakazoid. Good to know. You hear that, Dad? Take that. You just got called out by Kaiser. Haha. Emil, are you leaving? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
All time. Can we talk Octavius now? Yes, we can. We are talking Octavius starting right now. I shall return.
The year was 1761. A schooner named the Octavius was docked in the port of London. It had a crew of 28 men who were busy loading the cargo on board, destined for China. Among the crew was the captain and his wife and son. The journey was long, but eventually the ship and the crew safely arrived in China, where they unloaded their cargo and took the opportunity to enjoy being on land after so long at sea. Some of the more superstitious men among the crew had expressed their discomfort that there was a woman on board. After all, women were known to be bad luck at sea. These concerns, though, were largely dismissed by the rest of the men, especially after such a calm and safe voyage from England to the Far East. A couple of days later, the crew loaded up the new cargo, goods bound for England, and prepared for the long journey home. As the ship left the port in China and began to take to the open sea, the captain made the comment that,
Well, I'm sorry, Emil. Welcome back. I thought you were just chilling or lurking, but hey, hello.
the weather was unusually warm and decided that they should sail home via the Northwest Passage,
Yes,
a
I am.
voyage that, at
Marianne.
this time, had not yet been accomplished.
Ah, so many people joining. Marianne, yes, I am wearing my dad's hat. This is his. Well, never mind. I just lied to you. His Maritime Monday hat and my Maritime Monday hat are different. I'm wearing Model 3. I think he's wearing Model 2. And Lizbot, how are you doing? Those women are always the problem. And Island, how are you doing? I napped extra hard. What day is it? It is Monday, I believe. Welcome to Maritime Monday. Those are beautiful sails, Jim. Those are beautiful.
And so the Octavius headed for the Northwest Passage, as the captain commanded. And
He's muted. I'm not muted. I'm just saying. It's all him, not me. so we can just enjoy him talking in while he's muted. So, yeah. Anyways, let us enjoy his beautiful, beautiful hand gestures. And Emil, thanks for the 2. I'm alive and well and here. What up, you all? What up to you? Yeah, it's all him, I believe. Right? Right? Let me check.
Octavius headed
Yep, it's him. I love shit like that. It's pure artistry. Yes, it is.
God damn it.
Hello, Sue Magic. How are you doing?
Boomer! Hey, I just told a really, really interesting story. Too bad you didn't hear it, huh? All right. Damn. Now I have to tell this story again. Hopefully with the same amount of joy and the same amount of energy that that I told the story the first time with. Okay. All right, folks, you can stop telling me now. I'm very well aware. All right. Yeah. The story was really, really good. Yeah. Lorax talks to the trees, not the internet. All right. So for those of you that wanted to talk about the Octavius, let's talk about it this time with the volume on. Unsounding. Stop it. All right. The Northwest Passage. For those of you that didn't hear it the first time, which is literally everyone except me.
Hello, Peggy. How are you doing? Good to see ya. Just realized why you guys talked about Jurassic Park. Haha. Megan will be texting him in soon, probably.
The Northwest Passage was they were searching for a way to sail above Canada to this Northwest Passage to the sea. They wanted to get the trading routes open so you didn't have to go all the way around. You because if you wanted to get, say, something from Nova Scotia to Vancouver, and those of you that watch me do this in silence will notice that I'm using the same hand motions. You had to get something from Nova Scotia to Vancouver. You would have to sail all the way down the coast, around the bottom of South America, and then all the way back up again. So they were looking for places to sail across Canada, across to find a passage, the Northwest Passage through the ice that would allow them to go through. Someone mentioned the Terror. Yeah, that was actually the name of a ship. One of the famous ships, which we might actually talk about a little bit later.
Island, with all these hauntings, we're going to need a sage emoji or a crucifix. Probably a crucifix. Well, since I have enough, I have enough members, I can add more emojis, so it'll be on its way. And Peggy, I just finished watching the replay of your live before this, and I saw your comment. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. As the Lorax, Jeff did do tree law between ships. Nice.
That was searching for this elusive Northwest Passage. So when they're talking about finding the Northwest Passage, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about this route so that they could get to from Greenland or Nova Scotia to the west coast of the U.S. or Japan quicker than going all the way around the world the other direction or scooping around. So there we go. That's what the Northwest Passage is.
unknown and treacherous route,
Mitchell,
but would nevertheless be quite an achievement if successful. The Octavius eventually reached the waters north of Alaska, where the captain's theories about the climate being unusually warm were proven to be nonsense. It was freezing, The wind howled and the snow fell. To the crew's horror,
Newer ham radio Elmer. Did you know USA will have its 250 years of Navy this year? I knew it was coming soon, but I didn't know it was going to be this year. Good to know. Whim, stop it. Bad. Shame. Shame. And I need a little shame button. No, Gem, stop. Is an emoji just an icon basically? Yes, pretty much. Pretty much.
there came the sound of creaking and moaning as the ship ground to a halt, trapped in the sea ice, and it was not going to budge. The captain knew that this was the end of the line. There was no way a schooner was going to break this ice. The weather was abysmal, and the crew didn't have long at all before they fell victim to the cold. This was the last that anyone heard of the vessel, a crew, or a cargo. The Octavius was declared missing. All hands lost. More than a decade had passed. On October the 11th, 1775, a whaling ship named the Herald was working the waters.
Hello, Fluffy. How you doing? Good evening, Connor and Chad. Hope everyone had a safe and happy Memorial Day so far. Yep, and hope you had a good one too. And newer ham radio Elmer. I talk to most battleships via ham radio. That's freaking cool. That's freaking awesome. I never used a ham radio before, so pretty cool stuff.
Off Greenland. It was a misty day, and the sea was eerily calm. But there was good hunting to be had in these waters, and the crew sensed a good catch. One of the spotters noticed a faint shape in the mist off the starboard side, and within a short moment he realized that it was another ship. It had been a long time since they'd seen other people, and the Herald's captain assumed that this was another whaling vessel. He thought that if they pulled alongside it, then they could find out whether they'd found any whales in the waters they'd sailed that day. As they sailed closer, they realized that this ship was weather-beaten. The sails were tattered and torn, and hanging limply from the masts. There was no crew on the deck, at least not that they could see. The ship just eerily and gently sailed forwards at the speed of the low wind. The entire crew that was on deck of the Herald was now watching on the starboard side. They were very unnerved, wondering why this ship seemed abandoned. The Herald slowly sailed past this empty ship, and then, by order of the captain, the helmsman steered around starboard so as to pull up next to it on the mysterious ship's port side.
Long time no see, General T. Good to see you. Emil, I prefer pork radio. Nice. I prefer chicken radio. One of the last major things I watched with your dad was the Coast Guard hearings for the sub that imploded. I actually watched that at work last Thursday. Yeah.
As they did this, the crew saw the name Octavius. The Herald steered in closer.
This is a legit true story here. Can you imagine that? You're just out in the middle of nowhere around Greenland. And this ship that's been missing for 10 years suddenly comes out of the fog towards you. How weird and spooky would that be? No, there's nobody there. There's nobody there to greet you, nobody to hail you, nobody to talk to you. And then you get close enough to see the name of the ship. And it's the ship that's just been gone for 10 years, suddenly comes out of the fog towards you.
And grappling hooks were cast onto the eerie ship, catching onto the main deck. They heaved the ship in closer, tying the ropes off and then drop an anchor. The Herald's captain and a team of his men then boarded the ship. The wind was picking up a bit now, the tattered sails blowing and flapping. The mist was also far thicker, with the air noticeably colder. When on deck, the captain ordered for some lanterns to be lit. "All right, lads, stay alert. Look for the hatch and get it open. There might be people below deck."
Now they're on the ship. They're exploring. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They're getting ready to open the hatches. And Xcomer Triple Z gifts 5 Legal Vices memberships to the chat. Who gets them? Tom Jensen got one. Mr. Anchovy got one. Mandy and Josh Thompson, the first super chatters of the evening, get a gifted membership. Nick Dev gets one. And Mod Allen gets gifted with a membership. Super. Hey, thank you so much, Xcomer. Give Xcomer a shout out and a thanks for sending out those random gift memberships. And if you want the chances of getting a gift membership, please make sure that you click that little button there that says allow gifts or accept gifts or whatever it says, and you have a chance of getting one of the gifted memberships when someone gives them. So let's get back to opening up this ship. They found this ship that's been missing for 10 years. They grappling hook onto it. They get in there, opening up the hatches, and what do they find?
One by one, they descended the ladder into the darkness below. No sooner had a couple of men gone down below deck than a scream was heard. The lantern the first man was carrying revealed a corpse, frozen stiff and standing against the wall. His eyes were wide open, and he looked remarkably well preserved. More of the crew descended below and spread out among the darkness. All of them remained silent. The gentle lap of the waves and the creaking of the rigging was all that could be heard. More and more men appeared, lying down or crouched or sitting, completely frozen, completely dead. They found the dead crew's quarters, where around 20
Tankrat with the 10 Vice baby gift the membership. Appreciate you, good sir. Got Terry, Nighthawk, Tremarie, Lisa, Jawa, Charlie, Lynn, Patty, and Jinx. Appreciate you, good sir. And please say thank you to Tankrat, to everyone that got... Hey! Maud Allen got the gift membership here too. Nice. Please say thank you to Tankrat if you're here in the chat. Thank you, Tankrat, for the support. Really, really appreciate you. Alan, it's your lucky day to gifted memberships. Yep.
men lay frozen and lifeless. The crew was growing scared now. The captain walked forward, holding his lantern out in front of him. He looked at the faces of all the dead men. Almost all of them had their eyes open. They headed to the captain's cabin, where they found the Octavius' captain sitting frozen at his desk. His quill was still in his hand, and his logbook was open. The inkwell and all the other items still lay exactly in their place. The men saw a woman and a boy.
How creepy is that? Everybody's...
And Angela Daly, or Dally, however you say your last name. Welcome to the Vice Squad. Thanks for the, what's the word? Support. Yeah. We like to just chill, have fun, enjoy, maybe play games, be chaotic every once in a while, but most importantly, we like to just enjoy each other's company. Welcome to the Vice Squad, and thank you for the support. And grass is green enough. Hello. Hope everyone's having a fun and safe Memorial Day. Holidays are mandatory work days for me, but at least I get overtime. Those are good things about working on holidays, is the overtime pay Like a jock strap? I don't know.
He's frozen solid. They've been frozen for 10 years. The captain's still sitting at his desk with his pen in his hand. Ugh.
Frozen in the corner of the room on a bunk under a blanket. By the captain's desk, there was also a frozen sailor holding a tinderbox. The Herald's captain
And Uncle Buck. How you doing?
held his lantern right next to the face of the Octavius's captain. There was still a glint in his eye. The crew were quite terrified now. I think we should leave here now, boys. Calmly, but quickly, return to the Herald, the captain said. The crew were glad to hear this, and proceeded to return to the top deck. They took with them only the captain's logbook. It was frozen solid, and the middle pages came loose from the book binding. They arrived back on the Herald with just the first.
Yeah, Alan got 2 memberships, one from Dad's channel when he announced it, and then just now when Tankrat just dropped the 10 gifted memberships. So yeah, he's special like that. And Peggy, welcome to the Vice Squad. Thank you for the support. We like to just chill, hang out, enjoy, play games, be chaotic once in a while, and most importantly, we love to enjoy each other's company. Thank you for the support.
First and the last pages of the logbook, which were enough for the captain of the Herald to determine at least a part of the story of the voyage. Once the Herald's crew were all back aboard their own ship, they cut the ropes holding the ships together and pulled up their anchor. A couple of the men wanted to sink it, but most had a bad feeling about that idea. They were to leave it be. The men were
That's the cool part of this story is they were so freaked out. They didn't want to salvage it. They didn't want to sink it. They didn't want to touch it. They just wanted to get the hell off that ship. They wanted, like you said, just get your stuff and get off now. They all had this creepy, sneaky, weird, bad feeling about this ship. Now, the interesting thing about the Mary Celeste and the Octavius is both of them had women on board. And back then it was considered absolutely bad luck to have a woman on board a vessel. And that's nobody really knows why we refer to ships as her and she. We use female pronouns for vessels to talk about them. One of the stories is that because it's bad luck to have a woman on board, that to have a woman around, that they name the vessel, they give the vessel female pronouns. But so it was considered they deserved what they got because they had a woman on board. That's based. Um, but yeah, so I mean that's just one of the coincidences here is both of these ghost ships had women on board.
were in agreement that this ship was cursed, and so it was to be untouched, lest they met a similar fate. They cast off and sailed away, the ghostly ship fading away back into the mist. That night, the men that were in the boarding party told the rest of the crew about what they'd seen and talked long into the night. The captain, however, sat by candlelight in his cabin, looking over the pages of the Octavius's logbook. The last entry had been on the 11th of November, 1762, which meant the ship had been lost in the Arctic for 13 years. There was mention of the attempt to take the Northwest Passage. Its last recorded position, while the crew was still alive, was 75 degrees north, 160 degrees west, about 250 miles north of Barrow, Alaska. Yet, they were near Greenland. The ship must have broken loose from the ice at some stage, and completed its voyage through the passage and come out on the other side, where it met the Herald. Despite being dead, the Octavius's crew had continued sailing along the Northwest Passage. No other ships ever reported seeing the Octavius again. Did it run aground and sink? Maybe.
Hey, Elisa. Or Elisa, I don't know why I said that way, but hey, good to see ya. Happy Memorial Day to you too. And yeah, it is a beautiful picture.
Or perhaps it's still out there, sailing those lonely Arctic waters, crewed by the damned.
Okay, that story is one of my favorites. I really, 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 really like that story. Because that's just creepy. Let's embiggen me here. Like I said, we're taking these kind of in order of creepiness, and I really like that guy's delivery. The music, his delivery, everything like that. It would set the mood perfectly for that story. Yeah, I mean, that would just be the weirdest thing. You see this vessel come up out of nowhere, come up on you. It's empty. There's nobody there. You see it's this ship that disappeared 10 years ago. You go on and everybody's frozen in place. Somebody's frozen solid standing up. The captain's got his pen in his hand at his desk. Someone else is
Near Ham Radio, Elmer. Thank you, I appreciate the subscription. And hope you have a beautiful, beautiful morning, evening, night, wherever you are. Really appreciate you.
holding a box. The woman and child are frozen under their blankets. And yeah, and that's the thing. Drew Bradley saying it's amazing that it survived the crushing ice too. Yeah, that's a lot of these vessels that get stuck in the ice. They get crushed just by the expanding and contraction of the ice. But they were so freaked out. They're like, let's just get the logbooks and get the hell out of here. Don't touch anything. Don't do anything. Just leave it alone. Cut it loose. Let it sail. Didn't want to bring it in. Didn't want to sink it. Just wanted to get away from it. So,
And Peggy, are you leaving too? If you are, hopefully you have a good one. Appreciate you. And this will be my last story for tonight, and then I'll finish off the rest of the video at a later day.
kind of thinking that'd be really spooky. And nobody saw it again. Nobody knows what happened. The Northwest Passage, one of the most dangerous passages on the planet. You have an extremely limited transit time. Wolfram, thank you so much. So the Octavius did find the route through the Northwest Passage. It just killed its crew on the way and took like 13 years. Yeah, I guess they did. And I wish I was drunk. Hey, long time no see. Welcome. How are we? I'm very hungover, as well you should be. Congratulations. Welcome, and it's so good to see you again. I know you've been busy with school and whatnot, but it's always good to see you here. Haas Knuckles, happy Halloween, Jeff. Hey, happy Halloween.
Wolfram sighting. Howl.
Haas Knuckles sent me an X-ray picture of his crushed finger. That looks like it would suck hard. Ugh. D-Watt says ghost simps. And Barbara Vance has now been elevated to the level of one of the coolest people in the entire chat. Sorry, everyone else in chat. She's elevated herself to one of the coolest people in chat by quoting from Stan Rogers, one of the greatest folk singers of all time from Canada.
Yeah, Emil. YouTube doesn't give me the option to be a member. Maybe next stream. Try restarting your YouTube. See if that works. If not, oh well.
For just one time, I will take the Northwest Passage. That's from the Stan Rogers song, Northwest Passage, which for our interlude for spookiness, oh, I can't believe I just did that. I boomered it. But anywho, we'll have to unboomer it here in a minute. But I thought we would just see how far we can get demonetized by playing you a song about this Northwest Passage. All that song that we're going to play right now. Because as I promised, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing an entire show on sea shanties.
He figured that out real quick. General T, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you, sir. Have a good one.
But Stan Rogers is one of my favorite singers of all time. Love Stan Rogers, beautiful voice, sad story too. He kind of had he met an ignominious end. Well, it wasn't really ignominious. It was a sad end, but it was a glorious end. Stan Rogers, again, he's a Canadian folk singer who sings a lot of maritime songs, a lot of sea shanties. He died very young, in 38, I believe he was.
So, Jem, it's not YouTube cutting it out. So, whenever you get they'll tell you, hey, you can't be monetized because of this portion of the video. You can either cut it off, you can either mute that section, or you can just take the video down. And obviously, Dad chose the cut option. I choose the mute option, so you can still. So if you choose the mute option, then they'll only mute that specific sound. That's what happened with the Edmund Fitzgerald coverage that we did, and the last Maritime Monday with the Trailer Park Boys video. I had to mute that. So, yeah, it was him that cut it out, not YouTube. Evening, Connor, and everyone. My alarm didn't go off, so my short nap extended and start from beginning. Any cannibalism? I'm making dinner. No cannibalism on this one, but and Clara, glad to see ya. Halloween is my birthday. Ooh, nice. My one of my best friends' birthday is Halloween. I'm very, very, very jealous.
Was in a plane crash, but he survived the plane crash. But he would get out of the plane, he would go back in, help someone else, go back in for somebody else, and he eventually succumbed to smoke inhalation and died rescuing others from a plane crash. Barbara Van says Stan Rogers died at your airport. Oh, that sucks. He does sea shanties too. Trust me. Stan Rogers, he does some amazing sea shanties. But we're going to be doing an entire show on sea shanties coming up in 2 weeks. Well, we had, oh, hang on. Now I have to unboomer the boomer that I boomered before. There we are. Someone asked, where did it go? It was Kiernoth asked a very important question. Oh, see, I can't do this here. We got to do it. We got to do it the hard way. Where did it go? Kiernoth, where did your super chat go? It scrolled up there. Kiernoth asks a very important question. Have you ever heard of the Orang Medan? Have I ever heard of the Orang Medan, you ask? Why, that's the very next story we're talking about. Look at you, oh Nostradamus prophetess one. That's exactly what we're talking about next. This is a truly, the last one was kind of spooky and creepy. This story of the Orang Medan is a this is just a bizarre fucking story.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, this Orang Medan will be my last story for tonight. The rest will happen at a later day. Tangent Mackie, I still miss Legal Vices. Jeff, I woke up at 5:30 a.m. every morning to watch him live. Hey, well, good to see you. Glad you joined. And Rose, how are you doing? Good seeing you. Connor, is such a wonderful way to remember your dad on this way. Thank you for sharing him with us, and thank you all for being here.
This is a true. What about Avril Lavigne? This is a true ghost story. This is a ghost ship story. Oh, see, that's the thing. Isn't that ship a total urban legend? Well, watch this. I mean, this is a fucked up story. This is one of my favorite maritime stories of all time. It's just weird from square one. Well, as Mr. Upper Torso says, this one is creepy, but I have questions. We all have questions about this. None have been spooky or creepy. Oh, come on. It's creepy finding people that have been frozen for 13 years still standing up and holding pens in their hand. They didn't mention this in there. There's part of the, well, there was another legend, which obviously, I mean, doesn't really seem to make much sense to me. But one of the legends was that when they removed the pen from the hand of the captain, the ship started to sink. And then it only stopped when they put it back in. I don't believe that for a minute, but it makes for a creepy story to tell. Wolfram is our newest member. Thank you so much for becoming our newest member, Wolfram. That is deeply appreciated. Welcome to the Clean and Sober crew. And before I forget to mention it, Tankrat also gifted 20 Legal Vices memberships. So if you got some of those 20 Legal Vices memberships, please give Tankrat a shout out. That was very, very generous of you. Yeah, don't worry. 2 weeks from today will be Sea Shanty Show. We're just going to throw monetization out the window and just have a fun time talking about and listening to sea shanties and perhaps some other working type songs.
Connor, I'm the girl with the squirrel, Miss Nutter Butter O'Shea. Oh, that's a cute name. I love that name. Tankred Inception. What should we do for Tankred until I make an emoji of Tankred? Because I guess Flux sighting is a drink, and Wolfram sighting is a howl, and Tankred sighting is I don't know. New emojis coming soon.
Yes, the Orang Medan is our second to last story of the day. It's creepy. This is just weird. This is X-Files level shit here. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, I would deeply appreciate it. We are now at 31,890 subscribers. 110 more will get us to 32,000 and make me a happy guy if we can reach that goal by Friday. Hit the like button if you haven't. We've got 806.
Hold up, jeez. I knew guys that died fishing on Loch up in the Highlands. They got them at the bottom standing upright because they had waders on. That is creepy. Jeez. That'd be weird to see, just standing upright, drowned. Ugh.
65 viewers and 714 likes. So like some more. That'll be, when is the next OJ Simpson stream? Okay, let's do a very, very, very quick rundown of this next week. Tomorrow we're going to be doing an update on the tragedy that happened in Seoul, where the currently 153 people died as a result of a big crowd crush. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. So there's zero chance of monetization of tomorrow's stream. So super chats and other support would be deeply appreciated for that, but that's not here for now.
And we have 83 people watching with 143 likes. You guys are awesome, doing your jobs correctly. So proud of you guys. But have you pressed subscribe yet, if you haven't already? If not, please do that. Thank you. It's free.
Wednesday, Law Rant Day. We're going in on Judge Harriet Thomas. If you saw a couple of days ago, I posted a little blurb, little 15-minute long video about this horrible, racist, homophobic judge. You guys called BS on me, demanded receipts, told me it sounded fake, told me it sounded like a left-wing conspiracy against a good conservative Christian judge. You asked for details, you asked for stories, you asked for evidence. I'm bringing the receipts. You thought it was bad, the story I read a couple of days ago. This is 10 pages worse. So tune in Wednesday as we talk about Judge Harriet Thompson, who may be either the worst human being that's ever walked planet Earth or the victim of a smear campaign. You decide. We're going to hit that. OJ Simpson, we're going to be doing OJ Simpson on Thursday. Every Thursday is OJ Simpson's day here, where we review parts of the trial. We're going to get into some, it's going to be like 2 racist days in a row. Jeez. We're going to be doing the continuation of the cross-examination of police detective Mark Furman, who is an incredibly racist cop who may or may not have planted evidence. We'll get more into his racism on Thursday, and Friday is my Fuck It Friday stream. Bring your money, $100 shots. I get liquored off my butt. We talk about funny things, have guests, read stories, and just have a good old time. It is my major grift stream of the month. I just do it once, so I don't have to do it a lot during the month. So bring your money, and we will get liquored up on Friday with the Fuck It Friday stream. But right now, that's kind of the weekend. And then next Monday will be a Whiskey Sea Maritime Monday tie-in. We'll be tying in Maritime Monday with whiskey next week. Yay me! So all right, the last 2 stories. We're gonna do this one for sure. Maybe we'll do the other one, but I think we'll do the other one. This is a creepy one. We're gonna get right into it. If you want to talk about OJ Simpson, if you want to talk about the worst people ever, then also talk about OJ Simpson. And again, for those of you that haven't seen an OJ Simpson trial, we'll do this really, really quick so we don't waste a lot of time here on Maritime Monday talking about OJ Simpson. The purpose of doing the OJ Simpson trial videos is not to change anybody's mind on whether he did it or didn't. It's been 27 years. I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change your mind. If you think he did it, if you think he's innocent, if you think he didn't do it, then the videos we show will solidify that opinion in your mind. If you did think he did it, if you do believe he did it and he committed these murders, then perhaps what we will show you will show you how the jury could have had reasonable doubt, because we're showing some amazing lawyering going on here. I'm focusing on some brilliant lawyering by the defense lawyers and how they can take and sow seeds of reasonable doubt in people's mind. So check in on, if you haven't seen OJ Simpson, it's incredibly interesting. It's incredibly instructive. And you can see how a defense lawyer who's competent and is one of the best legal minds on planet Earth at the time could sow seeds of reasonable doubt in a jury's mind. With that, let's jump back to the Orang Medan. And on the way out here, Legal Vices, is there a stigma of naming ships after ghost ships? I'm aware of the ship fleet stigma. I would imagine that it's probably not cool to name your vessel after missing things. Kind of like saying unsinkable. You never want to say unsinkable. That is a jinx. All right. The Orang Medan. Let's jump in. This, as I've said repeatedly, is a weird story. And it's a long.
In 1947, a ship was found drifting in the middle of the Indian Ocean. All crew aboard were found dead, yet the ship was undamaged, and their bodies showed no signs of injury. How did they die? Join us this week as we delve into the depths of the mystery surrounding the SS Orang Medan.
Fast forward through the intro here. Well, you can't, apparently.
In 1947, a ship was found drifting.
There we go. Technology. There's some cool stories on this Bedtime Stories channel, by the way.
Peggy, I hope you have a good dinner. Appreciate you for being here.
There's some cool spooky stories. I've been meaning to figure out what this Morse code message is, but I haven't invested the time yet.
The Strait of Malacca, situated between Malaysia and the island of Sumatra, is one of the busiest and most important shipping lanes in the world, linking major world economies such as China, India, and Japan. Around 260 ships pass through the strait each day, carrying approximately 1/4 of the world's traded goods. Its significance as a major logistical highway of the seas is matched only by its notoriety, not least because for centuries it was completely at the mercy of pirates, but because it is also one of the most congested shipping lanes in the world. It narrows to just 1.5 miles wide at the Phillips Channel, making it impassable for some of the largest vessels.
You know what
And
I mean, Dick.
perhaps this is to their benefit, because there is, of course, another reason for the Strait's unwelcome reputation. Over the last century, it has committed to the deep more than 30 ships, roughly one every 3 to 4 years. And one such vessel, the SS Orang Medan, would meet with such a strange and violent end that it would unsettle seafarers for decades and ultimately pass into legend. In June 1947, so the story goes,
Okay.
ships navigating the Strait of Malacca received a peculiar SOS communication from
Nice.
a then unknown source.
Okay, Morse code.
Transmitted in Morse code, the message came in 2 parts, which did not identify the ship or its location, but gave a chilling insight into its situation. It read, "All officers, including the captain, are dead, lying in chart room and bridge, possibly whole crew dead." This was followed only minutes later by a rather distressing conclusion, which simply said, "I die." Nothing else was transmitted after this point, and authorities found themselves in a race against time to try and locate the ship in question. All other ships in the area were alerted and asked to stay on the lookout for anything unusual, although nothing was found during the initial stages of the search. Eventually, with the help of British and Dutch listening posts, they were able to triangulate the source of the signal, and the location was found to be far out to sea, in the midst of the Indian Ocean, some way off well-established shipping lanes. An American merchant vessel, the Silver Star, happened to be the closest to the source of the signal at that time,
Shut
and
up,
was
Flux.
sent the coordinates. The captain of the Silver Star, knowing the contents of the SOS, wasted no time in setting a new course.
Oh,
and
there's
within a
another
few
story
hours,
after this. Don't
sighted
worry.
a ship up on the horizon, which would turn out to be the SS Orang Medan. She did not appear to be under steam or any form of control, and by all accounts was said to be drifting aimlessly across the open ocean. Upon approach, several attempts were made to contact her crew, all of which resulted in failure.
People are asking what the fuck was that banging, Jeff? That was just the one little English bulldog moving furniture around, just pushing the sofa around behind me, the armchair. Back to our regularly scheduled horror show.
There were no signs of life to be seen anywhere, and it was becoming ominously apparent that something had befallen the ship and all those aboard. A deafening silence descended over the scene as the rescue vessel pulled in on her starboard side. The 2 ships were tethered and a rescue party hastily assembled, and the crew of the Silver Star began to prepare themselves under a thickening air of trepidation. Their worst fears were confirmed as soon as they stepped aboard and saw that the decks were littered with the corpses of the Dutch crew. Each one was found staring in wide-eyed fear, mouths gaping, their faces twisted in horror, and their limbs frozen in positions which suggested they had been trying to fight something off of them. Even the ship's dog was found dead alongside them, its teeth exposed and lips peeled back in a vicious snarl. Searching the rest of the ship, they found the captain's body on the bridge and the rest of the officers in the wheelhouse and chart room. The engineering crew were found at their stations, and the radio operator, the man who had sent the SOS signal, was found at his post, his body sprawled over the communications equipment. All had expressions of fear on their faces, with arms and legs contorted in the same way. It was obvious that everyone aboard had died in some degree of pain. However, the cause of their deaths could not be determined. The ship was undamaged, and although it looked as if the crew had been terrified at the time of their passing, they had suffered no injuries to speak of. Their bodies would have otherwise been perfectly healthy if not for another bizarre factor which was becoming more apparent to the rescue party with each passing minute. The corpses were already beginning to decompose, much quicker than would naturally be expected. And this wasn't the only strange thing happening aboard the stricken vessel. The Silver Star crew also noticed that, although it was a clear summer day, with temperatures in excess of 37 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit, there was a notable chill in the air. Measurements taken aboard the Orang Medan put temperatures as low as 4 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Fahrenheit in some places.
How you doing, Ben? Good to see you. Welcome.
Despite these facts, the captain of the Silver Star made the decision to tow the ship back to port for salvage. However, shortly after the ships had been tethered together from bow to stern, smoke began to billow from below decks, particularly the number 4 cargo hold. The rescue ship managed to cut the tow ropes just in time, and within seconds of doing so, the Orang Medan exploded with such force that her hull was lifted completely out of the water. She quickly broke apart and sank into the dark depths of the Indian Ocean, never to be seen again.
That's kind of weird, isn't it? People are saying methane explosion. Perhaps other things. But they'll get more into it. We just want to clear off a few of these here. Again, Tangrass says if you do another story after this one, I'll gift another 20 memberships. There's one more story locked and loaded, ready to go after this. So get that credit card locked and loaded. Locked and loaded. Super chats are welcome as well. To be Flair says, this is really great content, very original. Thanks for bringing something different. I love mysterious nonfiction. Me too. We'll be doing a little bit, like I said, next week, we're going to be doing a I can't really call it a ghost ship, but a maritime incident and a whiskey tie-in. So stay tuned for that. Mandy Karavicius, well, that just happened. I was on my way out the door when the doctor's office called.
Liz, steam it. That's what I'd say. Steam or boil it. And yeah. Or you can do what Emil says and eat it raw. That is very, very true. And dip it in some soy sauce or a little spicy Asian sauce.
Alden said I have to reschedule because the doctor is sick. Mixed emotions now. I hope that's a relief and not a problem. Jackal says, oh, this is the one Men of Medan was based on. And someone else said also, and a couple of other people also said, yep, I knew it. The game Man of Medan is based on this story. I have
Man of Medan is a beautiful game. I loved it. I played that game, I don't even remember how many times. But it's a good game.
never heard of this game. It sounds like a game I need to know about. Cool. Thanks.
Oh, hey, Bernice. How are you doing? Good to see ya.
Muzzy Skeleton, thank you so much for the super chat. Check out Wartime Stories channel. They did a video on the fate of the crew of the SS Indianapolis after it was sunk. Pure horror. We'll have to do that.
Oh, Lone Star Living. Oh, you caught me in the middle of stretching. Hi. Welcome to the Vice Squad. Thanks for the support. We like to just hang out and enjoy, chill, play games, be chaotic every once in a while, but most importantly, we like to enjoy each other's company. Thank you for being a member. Appreciate you.
Do that. Ew. All right. Yeah, Maritime Monday is a thing we do every Monday. That's why it's called Maritime Monday. So, all right.
It is a computer game, yes. Computer or console game. I played it on my Xbox, and it's actually there's 3 different games in that, but yeah, it's a story game with lots of action, and there's multiple endings too.
For those of you that think this may have been a gas explosion or a gas leak, let's find out. Thank you so much for the super chats, guys. By the way, we're currently at 757 likes and 900 concurrent viewers. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's go.
Fortunately, nobody aboard the Silver Star was harmed in the blast, and thankfully, no one had been on the doomed vessel when she had exploded either, as none of the crew had been willing to stay aboard and accompany her back to port, for obvious reasons. It was also lucky that the explosion had not occurred whilst the 2 ships were sitting side by side, and it was down to the crew's vigilance that we have any insight into the incident at all. With that in mind, the story was first officially reported in May 1952 by the United States Coast Guard, and since then, people have questioned exactly what happened to the crew of the ill-fated ship. And as always, there has been no shortage of wild speculation. Inevitably, comparisons have been drawn to the Philadelphia
And Lone Star Living. Thank you for the 10 gifted Vice Baby membership. Appreciate ya. Got Cindy, Claire, Courtney, haven't seen her in a while. Good Kimmy, Brian DeScience, haven't seen him in a while. Terry, Janet, Pastor Flash, Laura Christine, and Ida B, and OK Dane. If any of you guys are in the chat, please say thank you to Lone Star Living. And Lone Star Living, I really appreciate those gifted memberships.
experiment, with some theorists going as far to suggest that the Orang Medan had been part of some clandestine government experiment which had gone awry.
That's one of the theories. Was that this is a Philadelphia experiment, like Montauk sort of experiment that led to freakish, horrible things happening. Not the one I particularly buy into, but let's see. Let's keep going.
Others have said that the ship had been attacked by forces of a supernatural or paranormal nature, for how could one rationally explain the strange deaths of all those aboard? And of course there are the doubters, who question whether the ship even existed at all. An interesting fact arose when investigators researched the story and found that the name Orang Medan did not appear in any maritime records, and it had not been registered in any known port. But there could be a logical explanation for this. A German author by the name of Otto Mielck published his research on the case in 1954, which was apparently authenticated by members of the Silver Star's crew who had been present at the time of the incident. Mielck's work cited a number of previously unpublished details, which included the ship's last known location as well as its intended route. More importantly, it made mention of the ship's cargo, a point which seemed to suggest that the Orang Medan had been carrying unsecured lethal substances such as potassium cyanide and nitroglycerine. If true, then this would have been seen by...
So there you go. There's part of it. There were people saying methane explosion. Well, it could have been a nitroglycerin explosion. Could have been other.
And Denise going to see you watch Megan declare war. Enjoy. See you next time. Well, Denise, funny you say that. I'm gonna send everyone to Megan after this. So we all will be reunited once again. But hope you have a good one. Closed captions said Meowth. Oh, I didn't catch that.
Other cargo related issues could have been. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Let's time travel. Things that go boom.
By authorities as the height of negligence, and a ship carrying such a cargo would never have been allowed to leave port.
True.
It is for this reason that some believe Orang Medan was involved in a smuggling operation and was in fact another ship altogether, hastily renamed whilst at sea in order to disguise her identity, hence not being registered anywhere.
That's an interesting part of this story. All ships have registries. They're registered in some country on a ship's registry. There was no registry for this ship at all. It was not registered anywhere. It was a true ghost ship. It had no port of origin. It had no registration documents. Nobody's ever heard of this ship, which makes people question whether this event actually happened at all, because there's no real corroborating evidence that this event actually happened. For me, this clandestine government ship, or this theory makes a little more sense to me. Even a privately owned ship still has to have a registry. All ships are registered somewhere, from the smallest yacht to the largest military ship, passenger ship, container ship, whatever. This ship, there is no record of this ship ever having been registered anywhere.
This could also explain why she had been so far off established shipping routes in order to avoid detection. It is theorized that seawater had entered the cargo hold and
Hey, Ginver. Thanks for the 5. Missed so far, I'll have to join the replay crew. Good to see Jeff being kept in memory. And good to see you. Jinver? I don't know. I heard him call you Jinver and Ginver. So, whichever is the right pronunciation, please let me know. Good to see ya.
reacted with the potassium cyanide, which in turn released toxic gases, which then poisoned the crew. As the day wore on, the salt water somehow reached the nitroglycerine, sparking a fire and ultimately causing the violent explosion. But if this was the case, then why had none of the members of the rescue party also succumbed to the lethal effects of the cyanide gas, which would have been highly concentrated by the time they arrived? Another problem with this theory is that while cyanide kills quickly, it does not result in a painful death. Why then had the bodies of the crew been contorted in both terror and pain? Other researchers have suggested that the ship was not carrying potassium cyanide at all, but another substance known as tabun. Tabun is an extremely toxic nerve agent, which had been mass-produced by the Germans in World War II and had been shared in large quantities with their Japanese allies. During the post-war years, following the defeat of the Axis forces, the Western Allies were busy persuading German scientists to defect and procuring all sorts of enemy war assets, of which tabun would have been one. The US was heavily involved in chemical weapon research at this time, and elements of the US military could well have commandeered large quantities of the Japanese supplies. It is feasible that in order to avoid the inevitable paper trail, they commissioned a nondescript freighter to transport the goods and employed a foreign crew to further distance themselves from the operation.
See, to me, this is sounding more and more like the reasonable course of action. Some sort of clandestine operation by some government or governments to transport things or substances somewhere. This is kind of the theory that I'm buying into, which makes it even more fascinating. Well, now Faith Diamond says something here. The ships found Riley and they opened the wrong door. Cthulhu was hungry. Nice HP Lovecraft blast there. And John D also blames it on Cthulhu, which is interesting because that reminded me that I forgot to do what I had meant to do from day one. I forgot to smoke my Cthulhu pipe. That's my show and tell for today. He's probably the world's premier pipe carver, and this pipe was so ridiculously expensive, but I've had it for a little over a year, and it's my pride and joy. SV Pipes Design is the name of the guy that carves this. This is the box my pipe came in. I designed the Cthulhu logo on the back. And this is my Cthulhu pipe. This is an awesome pipe. I love this big, massive fucking pipe. So yeah, this is.
And before anyone asks, yes, I do have that one. It's with me, nice and safe.
This is my favorite pipe of all time. It's just gorgeous, and I love it. And that's my Halloween pipe. I meant to be smoking my Cthulhu pipe, but I forgot. And the tamper is also a Cthulhu idol tamper. I commissioned this bad boy. He charged me a lot of money, and I gladly paid it. And Corn Pop says cyanide is the scariest substance on the face of the earth.
You clapped? What? That's not what it says. You have cried this whole stream. Good job on crying, I guess. Well, at least you're letting out emotion, so hey, good job. Proud of you.
Earth, legal vices, you should cover the crazy.
Oh, you haven't. Gotcha. I assumed that's what you meant, but hey, just in case. Yay. Let me. There you go. There's your claps. Oh, that. There's your clapping from everyone, not your claps. That'll be weird.
The AF legal case of the Australian Jessica Kumala Wongso. Craziest story I've ever heard or seen. And someone else mentioned that as well. Please, someone tweet me that or email me that. That sounds interesting. I would love to look into it when I get some time. And KMJ, our Bent Halos and Broken Wings newest member. Thank you so much. Oh, it was Corn Pop. You said it twice. This pipe is made out of 10-year-old aged briar. Someone asked what it was made out of. It's old briar, 10 years aged. It is an awesome pipe. So, all right, with that, let's get back to the video.
It is also worth mentioning that Tabon has a very low persistence level, meaning that it would have completely dispersed by the time the rescue crew arrived. It also blocks the neurotransmitter responsible for signaling the muscles to relax, hence the contorted appearance of the bodies. The story of the Orang Medan can neither be proved nor disproved. It is entirely possible that it is nothing more than another tall tale of the sea, but the official mention by the US Coast Guard seems to counter this. Not only that, but some researchers have dedicated more than 50 years of their lives to studying the case, So there must be something more to it than mere fabrication. It is not beyond all likelihood that something more clandestine was taking place, whether officially or unofficially, and this would also explain the lack of recorded evidence, as is often the case in such matters. The bottom line is, this story is more than half a century old, and enthusiasm for researching it any further has long since dried up. If the Orang Medan did indeed exist, nobody is looking for her, and unless someone discovers, by chance or otherwise, her final resting place, we'll never know the truth of the matter. We are once again left to wonder.
Hmm. Hmm. What did you think about that story? I'm telling you, that is just a weird story to me. I don't know what to think about that, honestly. I mean, there is literally no record of this ship ever existing, but people that were involved in this say it was there. I'm I'm going for a clandestine government, and there what it was carrying and who they were carrying it for is open for discussion. I mean, the whole incident's open for discussion, but there's also rumors that it was the U.S. was sending some sort of chemicals to Japan, some sort of military grade chemicals, either for an attack or something like uh, well, just the tip says sounds like bullshit. Well, see that's the thing, we just don't know, do we? Seems like some government foolery if I've ever heard of it. Well, I mean, there was all those things like Air America during the Vietnam War and before and after, bringing illicit shipments in and out of Southeast Asia. The Iran Contra deal, flying in weapons and taking out money. The government does some shady shit. Everybody's government does shady shit. So I mean, that's where the other ones are a little more weird, a little more interesting, but that one I'm fully in the camp of it was a clandestine government shipment that went wrong somehow. They blew it up rather than have it salvaged. That could be as well. Says Matt from Tinder. Could have been an accident. Could have happened. Have you seen the Venture Brothers? Never heard of them. Sounds like a German smuggler delivering forbidden war materials to Japan. It could be, and that's one of the theories.
I need to learn how to unmute myself first before talking. Jinver says, I think Vicers have a new home. My heart sings, hey. All Vicers, all OG Vicers are welcome. Hey, Emil, thanks for the one Vice Baby gift membership from the muted accident. Chadwick Myers. You got it. If you're here, say thank you to Emil. And Emil, thank you for the support. We held Connor to ransom. Yep. Jennifer, too many times it has happened today alone. From my other stream earlier today and this stream. Well, it's my first time doing it on this stream, but combined happened too many times. And Emil, any thoughts of covering UFO or paranormal shit? Maybe is my answer.
Theory. One of the it's like Americans are trying to get these deadly chemicals into Japan. Others say that it could be the Germans trying to get them in there for use on others. Harry Dickshaft coming in hard. Sounds like some New York Times, CNN fake news. Unfortunately, we'll never know. And Mandy Caravicias, my dad smokes cigars, but you convinced me to get him a pipe kit for Christmas. Any suggestions on how much a good pipe costs and which tobacco? Well, actually, that is something that I plan to do a week from this Wednesday. A week from this Wednesday is I'm planning on doing just a regular chill stream plus a cigar and pipe recommendation, cigar, pipe, and whiskey holiday recommendations. But start out with a good corncob pipe. They're absolute gorgeous.
Okay, Alicia, you live in Utah. Take us on a field trip to Skinwalker Ranch. I think someone asked me this too, like in my one of my older streams in during the almost 4 months of my YouTube career. Um, Skinwalker Ranch is about 3-4 hours away from where I am. So if I ever, for some reason, head over to that area, then I will. But that may take a very, very long time. And Emil, so you're saying there's a chance? A little bit of chance, yes. A little bit of chance. I'll think about it.
Pipes for beginners. People think, oh, corncob pipes are for hicks, but right, I've got like 5 or 6 awesome corncob pipe back there. They're $30. If you don't like, if you, a really super good corncob pipe is about $30, running right around 20 for most of them. But they're
Cinder block for tires? Another maybe. I'm rusty in that area because I haven't talked about it in a long time. But after I need a refresher on those, so another maybe.
they're very, very forgiving. And learning to smoke a pipe is kind of a ritual. So if you like it, you can learn, and you can do whatever you want to the pipe, and it's indestructible. If you don't like it, you haven't wasted money. Um, but if you go to your local tobacconist or cigar shop, they should have pipes. Ask them for a beginner kit with a corncob pipe, and they should be able to give you some good recommendations for tobaccos, depending on what kind of a flavor profile that your dad likes. But tune in next Wednesday for more on whiskey pipes and cigars. Lots of theories going out here. The Venture Brothers was an adult animated series. They have a ghost ship episode and are similar thematic to Scooby Doo, but darker, raunchier, and lots of homages. Okay, that sounds interesting. Okay. If you like it, put a corn cob on it, says Matt from Tinder. All right. Well, our last story we have lined up for the day is the story of the Resolute. And before we get to the Resolute, I just want to give a shout out to everybody that has liked this video today. My goal was 600 likes. We're already at 812 likes. So I deeply, deeply appreciate that. We've got 900 viewers, 800 likes. I think because I know like at least 200 of you haven't hit that like button. So if you haven't, hit that like button and we can get this thing to 1,000 likes like that. And I'm only 5 subscribers away from 31,900 subscribers. So 5 of you, only 5 of you have not subscribed to my channel. I would deeply appreciate it if you would give me the benefit of the doubt, hit that subscribe button, and join us for our future shows, our future live streams, our future videos. Put a little faith in me, and I'll put a little faith in you. We need 4 more to get up to 31,900, and that would make me happy. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And Tank Rat has just gifted 20 Legal Vices memberships again. If you are one of the lucky ones, give him such a thank you that he'll never forget it. Tank Rat, thank you so much. It looks like John Osprey, Matt from Tinder gets one. Jensen gets one. Spicoli77 gets one. Robert Taylor gets one. Frig Snowden gets one. Trunan Shabata Pressure Batafikari. Hope I did it. Frog Snowden gets one. Techstar asks a question. When's the rest of the OJ trial? Every Thursday is OJ trial here. So tune in on Thursdays. Oh, and I've lost track of the stream. Lots of other people got got Tank Rat subscriptions. So if you got one of the Tank Rat gift subscriptions, please give him a big shout out and thank you. Tank Rat is a gangster. He is a gifting gangster. Starshine loves the content today. Well, thank you so much. It's kind of fun. I like to do it. That's what Maritime Monday is all about. And KMJ is a new member. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I did not note which membership level you were. I deeply, deeply apologize for that. But welcome aboard. Laurie Hendricks, cool subject matter, Jeff. Oh, thank you so much. I try to do something a little different here. Just reported the BTS member was killed in the recent Seoul tragedy. Untrue. Links or it didn't happen. I have searched. Just the BTS concerts. Jin, I think his name was, has canceled a bunch of concerts. Yeah. The not the there was one person called E.G. Han who was a guest. He was a contestant on one of these boy band competition shows, sort of like American Idol kind of shows. There was one guy that was a contestant on one of these competition shows that perished in the crush. Not a BTS member. We need to be careful about spreading rumors online. But it is a guy named E.G. Han. He was an actor and he was on a competition series. He was one that perished in the crush. Dustin Levan said, check out 1899, a horror ghost ship show coming out on Netflix. I absolutely will. And I've seen a couple of other people mention that too, so it's there. Rash.
Yeah, 1899 was a little hard for me to get through. I watched a couple episodes and I stopped. And Gem, Utah is about 600 miles from the very top to the very bottom. And by driving, it's about 15 to 18-hour drive. So yeah. And Jenver, because of your dad and Danny's like of wine slushy, I now have a wine slushy machine. Nice. How much did that cost? Tank is why I never paid for a membership in Jeff's chat. Tank's a legend. I can see. Melly, I'm back. Hey, welcome back. Jeff has a soothing voice. I fell asleep earlier on the live stream with Megan. Hey, good morning. Well, I'm going to transfer to my bedroom computer. Time for bed for me. Awesome. Whenever he's right about to start the Resolute, I will end my stream. Jennifer, dang, twice the size of UK. Yeah. And probably just as many people. I don't know. I'll have to. UK population 2025. Oh, yeah, there's way less people in Utah. So, because here, let's see. Utah population 2025. There's 3,564,000 people as of 2025 in Utah. And in UK, there's 69,551,332 people as of 2025. So, yeah. Emil, thanks for the one gifted Vice Baby members. Vice Baby gifted membership. Appreciate you. Linda got the membership. If you're here or if you're lurking, hey, please say thank you. 1899, was it boring? No. I think it's one of those shows where it's a slow start. That's what I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna give it another go, but that's what I'm guessing. It's a slow start. Yeah. London has almost 9 million people. Let's see. How about my hometown? Busan, South Korea. Estimated population of Busan in 2025 is around 3,484,430 people. Yeah, not bad. Anyway.
Rash is our newest member. We've replaced our newest member. Welcome to the clean and sober level.
Jennifer, I need to unmute myself first before I talk to you. I need to switch over the payment method, and probably I'll have to contact YouTube as well for that. But It'll all work out.
Are you going to cover the mystery of the USS Cyclops in the future? I do not know anything about the USS Cyclops. If there is a maritime interesting story that you want me to cover, send it to thelegalvices@gmail.com. Send information about it. Send links to videos. I'm really super backlogged. We have so many of these cool stories to talk about. Not only the mysteries, but also accidents which is what we normally do. We got a good backlog going, so anything that's coming in is really going to be a backlog. Sky News said BTS star. Sky News needs to check themselves. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, are you saying the news misrepresented something? Pretty much. Great. Well, this isn't an eerie, spooky story. This is just a fascinating story. The story of the Resolute.
And I will bookmark it right here at 2:21:47. And Jennifer, welcome to the Big Vices. Thank you for the support and welcome to the Big Vices crew. Appreciate you. We like to chill, hang out, play games, and maybe be chaotic every once in a while. But most importantly, we like to enjoy each other's company. Welcome. So let me switch over to this. I will book that mark. Hi everyone. Let me switch over some stuff. Bloop, you go up here. You go down here, so I'm not looking at a different monitor. Who's Mark again? Hey, don't worry about it. So, that was the first part of Maritime Monday. And since he said there's a whiskey tie-in on his next one, I assume it's going to be the what's it called? Shackleton. That's the word. Pretty sure. Let me see. Nope, the next one is Flying Dutchman. And the one after that is the Endurance and Shackleton. But the next one will be the rest of the Halloween edition, which is there's about an hour left. So, did you hear that Valhalla's Baby Ghost stream grew by one today? A new baby born sometime after midnight today. Yep, I heard that. I also saw the little title of his new video, but I haven't actually joined to watch it. So, coming soon, I guess. Happy Halloween to you too, Aaron. So, schedule for the rest of the week. I will focus heavily on editing my Screw It Saturday because I haven't finished that yet, which is stupid. Because next Saturday, the 7th, is the second episode of the Screw It Saturday series, where we just grift, drink, eat some regrettable stuff. I will have better stuff this next week. I promise you. So, get your rent money, get your pet money, get your ramen money ready for me, and watch me drink. Sounds painful? Don't worry about it. Jimber, the Shackleton one, got me addicted to this whiskey. Oh, nice. Yeah, they don't sell it here, so. Oh well. So yeah, I'll heavily focus on editing that video, that stream, this whole week. If I do find time to stream, then I will do the second part of this. And yeah, that's about it. Other than that, I'll just be doing my regular day job. Sound like Kermit the Frog. Frozen is Tom Hardy. I don't know. Hey, Just Don, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. So I already have the redirect set up to Megan. I guess there's a war going on with the famous case going on with the YouTube peoples. So Carolina Reaper, I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But thank you all for being here. Appreciate you. Stay beautiful. Stay lovely. Hope you guys have a beautiful evening, night, morning, or whatever time of the day it is for ya. Stay beautiful. Stay lovely. I love you guys, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.
Well, that's all for this stream, but it's been so sweet. Thanks for hanging with us. It's been a treat. We'll keep it warm, keep it real, take it slow. Catch you next time when the vibes are ready to flow. If you enjoyed the ride, give us a like, subscribe for the warmth. Come back whenever you like. Until then, take it easy. Don't rush, don't hurry. I'll be here waiting. No need to worry. Vice, baby, always by your side. Stay cozy, stay calm, let the good times ride. Peace for now, but we'll meet again. Take care, my friend. Until then.